Hi, how are you?
Good morning.
I gotta move. Do you like to sign in and all that?
You gotta sign in.
Okay.
You can take that too.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
Yes, the whole thing.
All right.
Now come up and get your little packets. They may be different. It's what I'm going by, so I'd advise you to go by this. If it's a little different, it'll be a little different, but this is what I've got to go back to. Yes, go see on state for please.
Is there a sign?
Sign the sheets, right?
Well,
This
Yeah,
is for
it's different
CE,
one.
I think,
the
but
focus.
we are for post licensing. They have a different sheet.
Oh. Let me get Debbie to get that. Thank you.
Which way is that?
We'll have that for you.
Oh, are they?
It'll be here a little later.
Oh, most of them are voice on.
Ira, they're gonna get, you can get a different subject line from a YouTube video we shot last night. And that's all we need to do is change the subject line. So I am done and good. You can send it as soon as. Okay. All right, y'all ready to get going?
Yep.
So let me ask you a question. Who in here has done an open house? One. Who in here thinks they will do an open house to try and get business? Let me ask you this. What, well, no, I'm not gonna ask this to you. What, in your opinion, thinking as an agent right now, so as your business is concerned, what is your goals and what do you think you need to do that day so that you have the best chance of success of getting someone to come in and looking as good as you can? I'm not talking about eight guys dressed, I'm talking about.
I need that. To go?
Yeah, you look
What
professional.
product are you gonna use, and I'm not looking for that. As an agent, what do you think you need to have to look as good as you can?
Basically, what I do is just get a lot of information about the area, neighborhood, you know, those for sale and have that, and have all the information on the house, of course. But, I still haven't had any luck.
Okay.
And so that's why y'all sounds like a better way to do it.
Well, what we're gonna cover today, and y'all can sign in later here, I'm gonna let you, Mandy, take this, and there's probably about 30 pages. There's about 4 sections of that.
Okay.
Chance of them back there, and I'll have y'all sign in after the break.
Okay.
So, we're gonna make it very easy for you. This is the open house, the effective way, and when you really break everything down, most people that come through this, they go, oh, yes, this makes logical sense. I want your page, man. So, the key thing is I've had a good solid strategy. I made a fortune off of open houses. The way that I leveraged open houses was there were people moving out to Forsyth County. They were moving from Stone Mountain, Dunwoody, North Fulton, you name it. They were coming out here for low property taxes. And then the school systems got better, and open houses were something I did almost every single weekend. And what I did in the process was I picked up a lot of people that were looking out in this area that did not know much about the area and leveraged my knowledge from a new homes sales success and knowledge in this pocket like nobody else had. So knowing the different communities, when someone would come in, I really wore out Old Atlanta Club. And they'd come out without agents. They were driving around to kind of see before they got engaged with an agent. They want to know, is the area that we think we might want to move to, does it have the homes, what's the value proposition, what type of neighborhood does it have? And so I'd catch them on the front side before they ever had an agent, and they had a home to list. So back then, I was fine with going, hey, I'm new to the business. I wanted to make it easy for them to select me. If they listed their home with me, I would be a little bit flexible on the commissions if they bought their next home from me, because they were moving up. So they were buying a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 home, selling a $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 home. And when you do the math on that, you can make a pretty darn good living without having to close the into transactions. So when you look at the pocket that you serve and you realize the price range that it is, and you plug it into this formula we're going to go over, open houses need to be an everyday part of what you do. And it's not just sitting in there on the Saturday or Sunday for 3 hours, sticking a sign out in front of the lawn. There's a whole lot of things that in order for it to be an effective opportunity for you to grow your business from, you can't miss one of the steps that we're going to go over today. And so we've written everything out. You've got the weekly plan. You've got dialogue of the follow-up, because we've also found that as agents come through, once they get to where they've taken somebody out, where they met them and had a good feeling about a buyer at the open house, they follow up and they don't have a specific plan. They have crappy sales styles. And when the people say, why don't you tell me where that house is? Then she calls and, hey, I got a home that might match what you're looking for. The agent folds because they're trying to be so nice, and they give them the information, and people drive off and they never hear from them again. Did they buy that home? Did they not? We never know. But what I can tell you is people with weak sales experience have weak dollars that they make in the process. And it doesn't take much. I want you guys to remember this. There's different levels of salesmanship. We're on this side on the pendulum, we've got the tour guide. Tour guides make minimum wage, right? On this side, we have the highly aggressive used car salesman that wants to go out there and beat people into submission. And you got to be positioned right in the middle where you're assertive. You're a consultant. That's how we want you positioned in people's mind and your mind. So in order to be a consultant, you got to go out there and have a lot better knowledge, and you can't go hide in a corner when you're doing an open house. And I'll be over here if you got any questions, and you go over there and pray that they have a question for you, and that they're going to use you because you're so nice and didn't bother. So we're going to cover a couple things. I'm going to tell you guys exactly what my life was like before I got into general.
And also can't hear him.
And some people that hear me talk today, the things that we've done, they think, oh, well, you're just a natural born salesperson. That is not the case at all. So in a minute, we'll go over different things with what I've done. So which one are you? I don't care where the market is. I love this picture because it doesn't matter where we are. I want you guys positioned as the people in the back that as they're going down the hill, they're raising their hands in the air. I don't want you to be positioned like this little girl in front or the mom that's sitting there going, oh my God, look, we're going down there petrified. Back in the day, look at row 2. I love that one. They don't even know what the hell's going on. They're just in there going, oh, you know. So they're oblivious to everything. But the ones in the back, they're prepared. They mentally got on that ride and knowing what they were going to do, and they're excited about it, and they're able to enjoy the whole experience, whether they were going up the climb or whether they were transcending down into the depths of where that was going to go. They were having fun. And it didn't matter where the market got, how deep and bad it got. My hands were in the air. I was having a damn good time rolling the roller coaster ride of real estate. But there's a lot of people that were fear-based. They never took the time to get educated on the market. They never took the time to go out there, get a cert, be a consultant, and do the work that's required to be successful in this business. Here's the great thing. What you're going to learn today is anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. I don't care where you are in life. I don't care what you've been through in life. All I care about is that from today's moment in time, you draw your line in the sand and say, what I've accepted is not good enough. We're taking care of you, girl. So, my main thing is you decide to draw the line in the sand. And I'm going to tell you where my specific line in the sand was drawn. And it was a very specific moment in time. And I hope that you guys can walk out here and go, I'm drawing the line in the sand because there's just way too much opportunity in the game of real estate. And I'm going to go out there and get my share every single day. So today what we're going to do is we're going to go through, I'm going to pull up FMLS. There's going to be some interaction. You guys are going to divide off into 2 different groups. We're going to share different ideas. We're going to look at it from the perspective of the consumer's eyes, and we're going to look at it from the agent's eyes. We're going to see what do we have to do in order to line up with the consumer because we oftentimes you forget about what you thought before you got your license. And if you go back in every action that you do, if you're talking to a Purcell Boundary, you stop and you go back. Most of the classes say, couldn't have said this, ask this question, leave it. And the reality is, if you back off and you go, if I was a consumer in that spot and I had somebody beating at my door and doing this action, how would I feel about it? It's going to be negative. And I always looked at it and said, if I can put myself in that person's shoes, and I can come about it with a direction where they go, hey, I don't really know how I feel about this guy, but I don't feel bad about him, then I'm going to win more than I lose, because I don't want to be that pushy, aggressive type that pushes people away. So every single thing that I've done and taught, some of it is from the perspective of my own human nature stuff, and other is going to classes where they're absolutely, terrible, and I'm going, okay, I would absolutely punch that guy in the face if he came to me and said that to try and get me close. And that's just the reality. So if you hear those things, then don't. If it doesn't feel good to you, it ain't going to feel good to somebody else. Okay? Now, which one are you going to be? I want you to be the one sitting there raising your hands in the air, regardless of what the market is. And do you think we're going to have other challenges in the real estate game? Yes. I think this year we're going to start to see big foundation crumbles happen in the upper end market. That's not going to have a huge impact on us, because if you look at most areas, lower price points up to about $500,000 are selling very well. You see it all over the place. And if you can have a product in that, and it's in the right condition, and in the hemisphere where it needs to be priced, it's going to sell. The key thing is it in the right condition? But when you get about $500,000, yours is a little different, but $500,000 is a little more than you look for. And we're going to be paying close attention to that. We don't bring that out in some of the open houses. So if we talk about trends and what can you bring out to people, you can educate so that you can have a good conversation. So everything is up here. This is my life right here. Bell Senior English High School, back then, great school, great Catholic school. Well, what happened was Pius, when you went through, was actually dominating merit. When I was there, we actually crushed Pius. All of a sudden, somewhere along the line, Pius stepped up and said, here we go. When did you graduate?
Oh. You're fired.
Okay, so, Bell Senior English High School, I was the only kid in my class. Cross stage, got a leather-bound thing.
I need to go outside and
I didn't have my diploma. There was a letter from the headmaster saying, don't give up, make sure that you go through. And I had to go to summer school at North Springs High School. And we almost failed that.
You lose more sign-in sheets, Debbie Cook.
I had to go to summer school to graduate. It took 7 years to finish college. I graduated at 3.9 GPA. A high school and college school together. I was not the brightest. 1.98 GPA in college and 1.92 at marriage. That's not good. So I tell you this because I stumbled into new home sales. I was not a natural born salesperson. I was lazy. I got into the business. Says you can't make some of this stuff up. I was graduating college after 7 years. I bartended, I worked, made money, and I interviewed with this guy with Syntex Homes, and it was for a marketing position. And halfway through the interview, he stopped me because I was answering marketing terms, and he said, "Do you realize this is for a sales position?" And I did not want to do anything related to sales because I saw my mother in real estate through the 80s when the interest rates were up at 18%. And I saw the stresses that she went through. My father was in the mortgage business, and I said, I do not want to have anything to do with selling either one of those things. I don't even know if I want to be in sales. So I got a degree in business management with an emphasis in marketing. And I thought, hey, if I can go get a marketing position, great. And the guy stopped me and goes, "You do realize this is a sales position?" I said, "No, I didn't. Let me go back and change some of my answers." And he started laughing. I didn't even have my resume because I had had an interview with a nuts and bolts company before that, and I did not know that Georgia State did not replenish them. I was responsible for replenishing the resumes. So here I am at the interview. He goes, "Where's your resume?" I go, "Oh, they didn't give that to you." So it was the worst interview you could possibly imagine going on. But what happened and what changed in my thought process was At some point in time, I brought up that my mother was in real estate, and he said, "Oh, who is she?" And I said, "Sarah Swanson." He said, "I know your mother. She's a great woman." And I thought it was from my mother's relationship with him that got me the interview to the next position, and I ended up working for Syntex Homes. But there was a pivotal point right there, and it was about 20 years later that I ran into David Baker, that was the guy that interviewed me that day, and I said, "Hey, you remember our interview? I told our agents that, the reason that I really got through the door after my lousy interview was the fact that you knew my mother and I knew your uncle and stuff." He said, "No." This is interesting because it was 20 years later. You go, how much do people remember? He goes, "I'll tell you why I passed your name along and highly recommended you is because you drove 6 hours through a snowstorm in Cincinnati to be there at the interview." He said, "It had nothing to do with your mother, it had nothing to do with what we talked about. It was if you were determined that as a college person to come out and make sure that you drove 6 hours through the snow,
I'll ask her.
that is what I knew would be successful." But I had it all wrong all along, but I shared it with you because I got the job. I was 15 out of 18 agents, 15 to 18 out of 18 agents for 2 years. I was what you call a wandering generality. I didn't care about contracts I was written. I was making about $100,000 a year, sitting there just, writing contracts and having fun. I wasn't really driven. Then all of a sudden, right here, my line factor happened. And what that was for me, my sales manager that hired me into new home sales, Brenda Lee, she, I was a sales manager at Providence Group. Seen them build all over Atlanta. So Brenda Lee hired me on first and got me on in the career. She was living in Old Atlanta Club, and I remember she said, that's what I was selling. I had 3 other agents that I was selling with. And she called me in her office. She called me in her home at lunch, and she said, "Here, I want you to realize this. Rosemary Tucker, she's got a driver. Penny Bishop, she's got a driver. Carrie Sherry, she's got a driver. Terry Swanson has no driver." She said, "I'm going to have to challenge you, and we're going to find out if you sink or swim." That was after 2 years. Life was good. I was like, "I'm going to make more money. My friends are. This is fun." And all of a sudden, she said, "I'm going to put you over this other neighborhood. You're going to have to earn it because you have no driver." I walked out there pissed. Pissed. And after that point in time, I did not listen to books. I did not study anything. I just was having fun. And over the course of the next month, I started listening to tapes, reading books, getting goals in line. I'm like, I want to find out what does it take. I watched Rosemary, Penny, and Carrie, and every one of them had a different presentation style. And I just observed them, and I'm sitting there going, what makes them successful? Because they were 3 of the best salespeople in the Atlanta area. So I watched them, I studied them, and I think this is pretty interesting how they're all so significantly different, yet they're all such a high caliber salesperson. Penny Cashiel all of a sudden got married out of the blue and moved out to California. This within a 60-day period. Carrie Shepard, that's Robert Shepard's wife, she helped train me. She got pregnant, and Rosemary Tucker got pregnant. 3 life-changing things happened to those 3 agents, and so Syntex was forced to leave me as the only one that knew things about Old Atlanta Club in there. So all of a sudden, my life changed, and the opportunity changed, but it was at a point in time where I started to get into training. I started getting into reading books about motivation, listening to people. I listened to Zig Ziglar, Anthony Robbins, you name it. I was a junkie. I became known as a junkie. But over the next year and a half, because of that conversation right here in my life, and making the decision.
Debbie Denise said the same thing.
Became the #1 agent within 1.5 years, doubled the production in 1 year, nominated for salesperson of the year for the Greater Atlanta Home Builders Association, remained #1 through the party. #1 agent in production for the 2nd full year of being in the real estate business on the general side. That's pretty remarkable. Of the accomplishments that I had, I would say that was probably the best thing. Your community's top 100s for in Atlanta for the 2nd year of being in the general business. I'm going to tell you, in new home sales versus in general, 2 totally different businesses. Okay? Never look back except to smile. And it all came from the point that I drew the line in the sand and I said, enough's enough. I'm going to go out there and choose to live a life that I want to live. I'm going to choose to be better. I'm going to choose to be in control of what I do and how I close. And that is what I hope for you guys, that you walk out here today and go, hey, I've seen a path that I can follow. I know it's not going to be easy, but if I'm willing to put the time into role playing, getting the stuff down, getting the things in my head where I've got it flowing through my body as it's a natural thing, That's how you get to the top. When I was up here, I had to do the role play stuff, but I didn't really take it to heart. When I thought about it, we had the videotape role, we had the role play, we had the audio tape, we had secret shoppers. If you didn't score well and you did bad, you're gone. You didn't have a choice. You had to sign off an authorization saying, I agree to be videotaped whenever they do it. How would you feel about that if all of a sudden we said, hey, guess what? I'm good, you haven't been doing your practice and you're caught. You have to take a choice and go, hey, you know what, why don't I just take every single step involved in the open house, the effective open house? What happens in this is 2/3 of what we recommend to do, most of you will never do. Why? All I do is time, it's energy, and it takes a lot of process through the week. You got time a lot, you got time management. So, you're going to learn a strategy, and that's all this business is about, is strategic thinking and strategic talking, and how many people get to know you as a professional realtor from today that don't know you today? That's your game. You got to go out there and meet people that don't know you today, that get to know you as a professional realtor, that like you. In real estate, you get paid for the value you bring to the marketplace, not the number of hours you work, and that is a very difficult thing to accept. We see people in here work months and months and months, and they're not really working. They're in here doing things, but they're not really being effective. They're not doing the things they got to do to be successful. In the video I was asked by Century 21, they said, what do you recommend for new agents? And it was the first thing they started off with. I recommend you go and you find the most productive agents and find out what they did to get to where they are. Period. You know what all of them will say? Work their ass off to get to a point that they start to get some repetition in their thing. They work harder than anybody else did. That's the only way that you're going to get to the top or get to where you want to be. If you're happy with where you are right now, if you're utopic with where you are right now, I'm totally happy for you. You don't have to do these things. Stay right where you are. But most people in here are going, I need more money. Or I need more money to make sense of the time I'm putting into this business. What you do is change some of your patterns, and it's very easy. This is not doing what it's supposed to do. This is supposed to be sliding through. So here's the line factor for this one. Realtors thinking of open houses, where the heck am I going to get my money expired? I need to make a sale. This open house is wasting time when I'm doing something. I have to hold the home open to make the seller happy. I have nothing else going on, so I might as well do the open house. If someone comes in, I'm going to sell them something. Right here, saw the movie American Beauty. I think 15 years old, maybe even longer, or 15. Annette Bening is one of the best representations of what America, in their mind, thinks about us as realtors and what we do. So Annette Bening is doing an open house, and she's the real estate queen in this area. She's trying to, well, there's a real estate king that's like billboards and everything already, kind of like Mark Spain. And then here's a female that's trying to, in an ad marriage, and she's trying to do the things to beat the real estate king. And she is going into this open house. It is dark, dungy, it is in bad shape, the pool's in disarray. And she's in there the whole time. She's in a negligee. She goes and strips down, goes into a negligee. She's vacuuming, she's washing the windows, she's washing things, and every second she's going to sell this house. Going to sell this house. Going to sell this house. And it's just, you're looking at it going, this is a crap. And then the first people come up to the door. She opens the door, she says, welcome to... Can't you just see your furniture in here and you're having dinner at the table? And, you know, it's just the epitome of what the public tends to think of us as realtors. And that's the truth. And I look at those things and I go, you know, what an opportunity we have to go out there and leverage our style so that every day you walk out there and you meet somebody, my hope is that they walk away from you and they go, wow, that was different talking to that person than what I mentally had up here is what my expectations would be when I talk to a realtor, a real estate agent. And that's what drove me more in this business than the money that you could make from it. It really had nothing to do with the money. I like what I can do with the money. I like what it brings my life. I like being able to give back to different things. But my drive was I had a negative image of realtors because when I was holding the new homes open, they'd come in and they'd always want to know, what's the commission? They talk behind their client's back so they can find out that, no, what's the commission on this? And I was like, God, that's just a terrible way to be. You're not even serving your clients, you're trying to find out what are you going to make off of them. And I didn't like it. So I wanted to go out there and never have somebody feel like I was that type of agent. And so my whole strategy was born from my open house or my new homes experience. Potential buyer. Their side of the line is, I don't want to buy something I don't want. I don't want to be sold something. I know what I'm looking for. I'll be able to negotiate the agent's commission. The home won't sell, and don't know why the market is really, don't know what the market's doing. Excuse me. I will go online and see what is out there. I will just ride around and see if there's anything I really like before I get with an agent. Do you think that's really what people tend to go through? That's what their thought process is, for the most part. So, to me, I look at it and go, we've got two different sides. We've got to get out of thinking like this and understanding what the buyers are thinking in order to be able to have a chance of having them want to work with us. So, that's what this is all about. On the math, one open house per week. Who in here has a problem with thinking that they could do an open house once a week? Anybody got a challenge with that? That'd be either Saturday or Sunday, a 3-hour commitment of your time. Okay. Everybody in here could do that? I will tell you if you did. This is very easy to attain. One open house per week, that's 52 open houses per year. One prospect on average per open house. That's 10% conversion rate, meaning 10% of the people you meet with that you do an effective job with will want to work with you. 5.2 sales over the year. Average sales price, which is low, $300,000 times 3% gives you $9,000 gross commission, which is a net effect of $46,800 per year just from doing one day of work at an open house and doing it the right way throughout the week. This is not taking into considerations that you'll pick up due to the people that you will have that have homes to sell that you will meet, how many homes that you've previewed, how many of those are getting ready to expire. Think about your opportunities outside the 3-hour time block of the open house. This business comes down to daily actions that 90% of realtors see no value in. Think about it, be the smartest. Play these numbers. This is all a numbers game. It's all that it is. But it's also quality numbers is what you have to focus on. So, choosing the home. All you got to do is look at it and go, if it doesn't fit in this parameter, I cannot do an open house in this. Here's where a lot of agents that are doing don't have listings following through the trends. They go out there and raise their hand and say, hey, does anybody have an open house out there? Hold your open house. And a smart agent that has listings in an area that they really don't want to serve, they're like, yeah, I got an open house over here. It's out in the boonies, but hey, go make me look good. And I would never put my time in over there, but you as a new agent, go ahead, go waste your time. That's what they'll be thinking. So you got to control it. You got to say, if it doesn't match up with these things, you cannot do the open house, regardless of what you want to do. If you want to do an open house that fit within this, you can go drop down to myself and say, hey, here's the area I want to cover. Do we have an agent that has listings in this pocket? So it's got to be listed with results in a desirable area. Is in an area that you're familiar with. It'll increase your odds of having someone want to work with you because of your knowledge. It is in a community that's easy to find. It's in a community with good sales track record or good potential. By the way, what would that be? Good sales track record. What volume would you want to see out of a neighborhood to know that it attracts enough people to it? In the course of a year, how many would you think, hey, I want to see at least it has X number? I want to throw something out.
6 sales.
I think 6 might be a little low, but I'd say 10 or above would be a very decent opportunity. Did you mess me up? No. Thank you. So if a neighborhood has more than 10 sales in a given year, that's pretty good. I'd go ahead and do it. The home is in good condition and it's priced. This is the key thing right here. Is priced between 200s to the 500s. Why would I put that? Why would I say if you got an open house and it doesn't fit within this parameter, you can't do it? Period. Why?
You get the highest volume, but I would still think the others would be worth one. I mean, I understand, I think your logic, but.
So what I want you to realize is this business is built over a number of people to get to know you and how they feel about you when they meet you. This is the main traction in almost any given market. Okay? The main number of people. Here's what I love about this. One, people from the lower price points will be moving up into that, and this price point will be moving out up into the others. So if you focus on this price point of getting to know your market, your high school district, and all that stuff, and you really get your brain trained around that, This is where you have the maximum opportunity to make a good bit of money in this business. And I have agents come and go, I'm gonna focus on the upper end market. Go check that out today and look what the forecast is and how long is it going to take you to get to break into that market when the people that are in that market, typically the ones that are successful, have been in the business a long, long time. And unless you have a very good social connectivity in there, the chances of you breaking in, not that good at all. So if you're socially connected, you have an opportunity to increase down the states that others may not. If you're not situated in that, don't go try to break into it. If you're situated in it, you got a tougher road to go, but you have social opportunities that will yield you a better opportunity than others. Period. Okay? So you focus on this and you realize you're looking for lower prices to come up and the price of that to go out. But it's the number of people that will be able to come through there and you attract them to you. Schedule. I'll give you the schedule. Determine the home that's right for you on Monday and get it approved. That's approved by the sellers. That's approved by the agent that might have the listing. And make sure that you're familiar with the area. Tuesday, gather community information. Get information on schools, shopping, roadways, hospitals, and play areas. These are the things that are important to people. You're going to build a map from Google Maps. You're going to act like if you go look at a successful new homes community, I want you to act like the on-site agents act there. They've got a developer that spent thousands and thousands of dollars to get them the package that they've got. There's simple tools that you have at your disposal to get you the maps that have those features on them, that you can educate the consumer that might be new to the area, and you're going to act like the on-site agent. Prepare a local package. We'll go over exactly what to put in there. Make an appointment to preview all the homes in the community prior to the weekend. Get a packet together to make sure that you are the expert in the as the consumer. I want to cover this right here. Make an appointment to preview all of the homes. What are the challenges today that a lot of agents are starting to do that might make it difficult to preview homes? They're making you call them, or they're using showing time. Showing time's not so bad because you can set up an appointment to go preview. A lot of agents that are making you call them prior to are stonewalling agents from going in and previewing. Now, to me, I will say this. If you're an agent, you have a listing, let somebody go preview your listing. Why would you want somebody to preview your listing? So, to me, you let the people in. To me, if you have somebody that says, the people don't want to have previews, which might be asking why. I'm out previewing in this area because I work this area, and I won't know if your home is a good match for people that meet maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, unless I go preview the homes. So why wouldn't you want to go and preview in your listing? All right? Anybody got a problem with that? You need to get into homes. By the way, who in here is previewing as a regular weekly activity right now? No, I don't believe it. Maybe.
Well, I've gone out 3 times in 2 weeks.
All right, so here's the deal. Until you have a quantifiable number of listings that keep you very busy, which to me would be if you have 5 active listings, I'll give you a little break. If you have 10 active listings, I'll give you a big break. But if you don't have 5, then you have time to be going out on a weekly basis and previewing as many as on the low side 15, on the high side 25. The only way that you can do that is to say, hey, it goes back to time blocking and time management. If I'm going to preview 15 homes in a given week, I can either do 5 homes a day for 3 days, or I can do 3 homes a day for 5 days. Don't try to do 15 in 1 day. That's not effective. But if you go, hey, I'm going to bite this little animal here and just chew on it each day, that's how you will get your mental inventory so much better than relying on the computer system. Because you've all seen trick photography. You go out to you see a beautiful lush lawn, and you go out to it and you realize, oh, they took it to the left side, and the right side actually looks right over a highway, right? You go in, and the home looks a lot smaller in person than it did online because of the photographer's lens that made it look actually 1.5 times the size of what it actually is. Those are the things that you need to do for previewing that will absolutely get you a lot further in this business than that. It's the one thing in this business that people do not find the value in today, and I don't know why. It's the only thing that you can do that's going to make you so much better than other agents to go through. There's homes that will sell in a neighborhood that you went into right before it closed, or right before it went under contract, and you saw that they changed the condition of it, and then when you're in a listing appointment, 2-3 months later, and the neighbors are going, well, our home's a lot better than that one, because they didn't see the changes that went on before it went under contract. That's the type of stuff that will give you power. Wednesday, door knock with invitations to some of the nearby neighbors. Preview homes in the area within a $100,000 block. You need to view at least 15 and a maximum of 25. Leave your cards on home to preview. We'll talk about this for a minute. 1, if you preview 15 to 25 homes and you focus on doing open houses as a weekly repetitive thing in your business, and you follow this format through and through, and every single week you've been in the 15 to 25 homes to preview, at the end of 90 days, how many homes would you have been in to leave your card? And those people would not know you. You might have met some of them in the process, but all of a sudden your card's going into a lot of homes that are going to be expiring, potentially, that could call you. But if you don't go preview and do a good job, then how are those people ever going to know about you? So if you look at this, you go, hey, if I'm previewing 15 to 25 homes a week and I'm leaving my business card in there, just that may elicit them to call you when they're getting ready to expire and interview other agents. Yes?
Can you leave a note to the seller?
Tell me what the note would say.
In my previous company, someone recommended leaving a note saying, thank you so much, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, for letting me see your home. It's beautiful. Just something positive. Leave it there.
You could.
Not in a soliciting manner, of course, but.
You could. But what would you feel like if you were the listing agent and you saw that?
Oh, I'd be pissed off. Yeah.
So I would recommend it.
Okay.
Okay. But I think just the art of going in and previewing it, you're going to be having your card in there. And, honestly, there's not many agents that are previewing as a habit of their business. And to me, unless you got 5 listings, you need to be previewing every single week, at least 15 to 25 homes a week. And that just goes into what you need to be doing to exercise your mind, so that when all of a sudden you're talking to a friend, you'd be amazed how this happens. You've been through previewing homes versus just looking at it online. You go out and preview homes, you will see stuff you get excited about. And then you'll be at a party or be talking to somebody, and they'll bring up something real estate, like, oh my God, I was in this home. And you start talking about things. And you might have something that they or a friend that's looking. And all of a sudden you become more relevant to them because you're out engaging in the business each and every day. And you got something you can talk about that you walk in. It's a whole different game than just looking at stuff online. Trust me, get into it and you'll be amazed that after 90 days of doing this, how many people you are going to start to have your card getting in their hands. And it's all a numbers game in there. Yes?
Terry, when it's a vacant home, do you bother to leave your card then?
I would say at this point in the game, I'll leave my card everywhere that I go on a preview. Absolutely. The agent may never go in that home. The owner may be the one that goes in there and sees the cards. The agent may be doing a terrible job, which a lot of them do. And the owner may call those people back and go, hey, I'd like feedback on my home. You'd be surprised how many bad agents there are out there. Okay? Here's the other thing. Preview homes in the area within a $100,000 price block. So here's what I want you guys to think. If the home is anywhere in the 300s, what price range should you preview? $100,000 block, let's say it's 325. What is the range that you're going to go preview? Home's 325.
225.
What was that?
225, 425.
I just got 3 to 400. 3 to 400. If it's 310, I just look at it and go, if it's in this block, just go 3 to 400. If it's in the 400s, go 4 to 500, and just make it easy like that. And what you want to do is, if the neighborhood does not have enough, you need to go outside the neighborhood in a high school district and just focus on that really close geographic area to the home that you're going to be holding open that weekend. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be setting yourself up for looking like the smartest, unbelievable machine there is in real estate. For when the people come into your open house, you're going to have so much more knowledge by having gone through the homes. And when you preview, you don't just go in and go, okay, I'm going to go in here, I saw it, I dropped my card, I'm out of here. You go in, you got to get the feeling of it. It's called creating a mental path in your head so that later on you go, you know, somebody saying, I want a home, I want a master on Main in the 400s with a big back lawn. You go, bingo, I was just in that last week. That's what starts to happen. And all of a sudden your brain is trained to carry a whole lot of inventory over time, but you got to build it into that. So, $100,000 block, you go in there, you walk into the home, look around when you walk in the door and get a feel. What feeling do you have? Is it a big open grand foyer or is it a single story foyer? How's the dining room and living room open up or not open up to? What's that really create an emotional connection with? Go in the family room, is it 2-story or not? Is it open to the kitchen, is it not? Kitchen cabinets, appliances, get that emotional connection. Go to the master bedroom, look in the back lawn. And outside of that, you don't really need to look at much. I'm not worried about the secondary bedrooms because the people buy the home off those main components are going to get to know them very well. Spend time in them. That's going to be your clue, people. Thursday, continue to research the area and community. Friday, call every homeowner that you've previewed and let them know what you're doing. The weekend and ask a 5-minute question. 5-minute question is this. You call them, so imagine you previewed their home, and if their number is in the system, then you call them and say, hey, if I meet someone that is a match for your home, I may only be able to give you a 5-minute notice. Is that okay? Okay. Saturday, Sunday, early in the AM, put out the directionals. Act like a developer, drawing the people to your community. What should the signs have on them? Yeah, that doesn't sound good. Put the price point on there. I'm going to tell you what I did as an agent that some have said, I think that looks tacky. I don't care. It was cost effective and it drove the right people to my open house. So when I say price point, I would get, you have little open house signs, right? And they're a little H stand. So I'd put a little plastic, the notebooks that you free-ring binder things, and they got little plastic sheet protectors. A little thing, I'd do a PowerPoint. I'd put the price point. 300s. I put finished basement or something that was about 3-sided brick, mid-300s, or put the price on there specifically. Then I'd tape that to the bottom part of the open house, the direction. Then I'd have some people that would say, why would I want to put a price point on there? I want as many people coming to me. You really don't. You want the right people coming to you. Then when they walk in the door, you're going to be the best knowledgeable person for that $300,000 to $400,000, whatever the home is, price point. And you're going to dazzle them. So I'd rather have one come in that's the right one for you that you bring them and train around that week versus 10 that came in arbitrarily. Here's my challenge for you. How many people before they got their license would drive around arbitrarily and follow any open house sign just to go in and have an experience with an agent that might be negative? It's before you got in real estate, so really think about what you thought and what you did before you got your license, before you got interested in getting your license. When you're a general consumer, how many of you, show of hands, drove around if you saw an open house sign, you said, oh, let's go in that open house and talk to that agent?
Well, not talk to the agent, no, but check out the home, yeah.
Okay. Why did you do that?
Well, when it was in my community, because I was curious.
Okay. In the community because she was curious. I have no problem with that. Let's say it's outside your community and it's just a random open house. No. Okay. Anybody want to say they're a freak and that they did this?
I did it.
Okay, what would you do it for?
General knowledge of the area and to see how they handled it, because I knew I was going to go into real estate.
Okay, stop, because you knew you were going into real estate, so before that. You're just a normal random person, you're not even thinking about real estate. How many of you actually did this? You don't. Before you really, okay, so here's when you break it down.
Nosy.
it's usually-
Design
Oh, just
ideas.
nosy. There was a really great lake home or something. You go check
When,
that out.
when we break it down, usually there's one in the room that's free. That's okay.
I'll take it proudly.
This is my point. Neighbors, great. If you do open houses, you will have neighbors come into the open house. And by the way, we recommended that you invite them and go door knocking and have an invitation to them and say, hey, I'm going to be having an open house over here. Now, I'm going to tell you this. If you're holding somebody else's listing open, I don't necessarily recommend that because it's almost like you are going against their efforts in the neighborhood. So you might want to kind of partner in with them and go, hey, I want to make this as effective as possible. Would you mind if I went door knocked and invited the 30, 40 neighbors in that street? And if I get something from them, I'll give you a referral fee or we can work it together, whatever. That's being proactive and working with other agents. And you want to always honor the business of those that are sitting there giving you the opportunity because you want them to give you more opportunity. Okay? Does that make sense? Because think of yourself, if you're the listing agent, you want to know that that person's being professional, but if they're going to go take advantage of your listing, right, and do open houses, you have no problem with that. If they're gonna try and expand the business around that, you wanna know that, right? Yes? So just treat others in this business the way that you would be proactive about. So, time of the open house, there's little riders that you can get. If your business practice is gonna be Saturday 1 to 4 or Sunday 2 to 5, you'll get little tiny riders that go right in the top of that and say Saturday 1 to 4 or Sunday 2 to 5. Which day do you think is better?
Sundays.
It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I've been in new homes for 7 years and we'd always go, which one's better? It doesn't matter. It's potluck on the weekend. Sometimes families during fall and spring, they've got baseball or football in the morning on Saturdays, so that can work out well. People going to church and whatever on Sundays, and then they do their, so you don't know. So bottom line is, my thinking is it's either Saturday 1 to 4 is the best time or Sunday at 2 to 5, but those are typically the 3 hours that most people do open houses. And you can get riders and stick them out so they can be out there a day or two so that they know their time frames, so you're getting additional marketing to get people over. 2 balloons around each sign. By the way, how many signs do you think you need to put out? Huh?
In front of them.
No, one in front of the house. But how many signs do you need to put out driving people to the neighborhood? Remember, you gotta act like the developer. So how many?
Three or two. Depends on where it is in there.
You know what I recommend in here? Well, we're gonna say getting them to the neighborhood.
Oh.
8. So what I want you to think of is that 8 open house signs with price qualifiers, with time frame on there, put at intersections, just like a builder does, driving people to where you are, with 2 balloons around them. And the reason that you put the balloons on there is if you pass by a lot of signs on the road, and you don't even know that they're there. Your mind gets just numb to all the signs that are out there. You put 2 balloons around the sign, all of a sudden you got action. There's stuff flying in the air, and your attention's drawn to the action that's going on because of the one blowing the balloons. That's why, now, this is where I think most people don't do it. But if you did it, how many more people might you reach in an area where you're going to hit in the main intersections, driving people just like a builder developer does? By the way, when I did new home sales, how many people do you think, percentage-wise, make it to a neighborhood and their number one thing is that they made it to the neighborhood by a weekend bootleg sign? What percentage do you think walk in the door? Not from a realtor, not from a radio ad, not from a newspaper ad, not from the internet, but driving to the neighborhood because of a signage campaign out there.
25%. 80%. Oh, wow.
80%. Here's the other interesting thing. And this is where you kind of put all this together. So 80% of the people find the neighborhood by the weekend bootleg directionals. And of that 80%, most of them at the time that they walk in the door, check that they're not working with an agent at that time. So 80% of traffic starts off in a new home arena without working with an agent, yet 80% of the contracts are written with an agent. So I want y'all to think about that. What does that tell you? It tells you that you need to go out there and do the additional exercises to get those. I mean, think about it over time. How many more people would you draw to you to get to know you? And then you impress them if you went out there and did 8 signs, draw them to the neighborhood with 2 balloons. I'm going to tell you this, it's a pain in the butt. Because not only you got to put them out, guess what? You got to go pick them up at the end of the day. It is a laborious pain in the butt. But if you go, hey, you know what difference will it make in my life if over a 90-day period I did this repetitively every week? How many more people will I be able to come in contact with that are in the hemisphere of doing real estate? Okay? That's how you got to think about it.
How soon for the open house did you create policy?
You need to know the county or the city ordinances because it is determined by that. You need to make sure that you're in the private property area and not the city or county area. You've got the little lines judged by telephone poles and stuff. And you want to be on the opposite side of the street. If you see utilities and stuff, those will be in the right of ways. You want to be out the right of way so you're not on the county property. And then you will have signs that get stolen. That just happens. You don't really need to do all that. It just depends on how much money you want to make over that time period. In reality, if you put out eight signs every weekend, How much time does it really take? 20 minutes. So what? What if it brought you 4 more people over the course of a month because you did all that? By the way, how many of the people that you previewed their home, you call them, then they see all these signs going out, are you doing more than what other agents are doing? What's your credibility to the people that are going to be selling their homes in the future in that neighborhood? They see the balloons, they see the price, they see people going. Even if they don't have anybody go, what's your perception of an agent that does all this stuff if you're going to be selling in the next 3 to 6 months in a neighborhood, regardless of if that home sells? You're going, man, they're doing a lot, right? So when you really look at this, you go, hey, let's not just look at it from a buyer's and how many people walk in our door. What is the impression you're leaving to the future sellers in that area? What can you do with that? That's how you got to think, okay? So then you back off and you go, okay, if I did all this over a 90-day period, how many contacts would I really have made? That's 15 to 25 homes every single week, right? So in the course of a month, let's just say that you go 15, you go to the low side, I'll give you a little break. It's 60 per month, right? Let's do easy numbers. That's 180 contacts by preview. How many people walked in the door? Let's just say 2 a month walked in the door that were good, legitimate buyers. That's 6. So how many right now? 186 people that you touched. And then how many people saw the signs of, you see where all this can go? This is how you build something right now versus doing it the passive way. You want them to take control and go, if I do this over an extended period of time, it's consistency over time, there's no way I can lose. And then how much better is your mind around inventory that's out there, really getting an understanding of homes that are selling, why they're selling, getting excited about different things. It's a whole different ballgame. Okay? So, on this, right here, find the largest number of buyers and deliver the unbelievable experience. We're going to take 5 minutes, and I'm going to let you write down. As soon as you are done with writing down what the unbelievable experience is, I want you to think of this as a consumer, not an agent. I want you to take off your agent's shoes. I want you to step into the consumer's shoes. Forget about everything you know as an agent. Step over in the consumer's shoes, and I want you to tell me, write down, what would I have to show to you at my open house that you're walking into as a general consumer? What would I have to do? What would I have to have so that I would know that I would be delivering to you the unbelievable experience for an open house as a consumer? So just take a moment and write that down, and then when you're done, we're going to be taking a little 10-minute break.
We're talking about people that are coming to the open house, not.
You're a consumer coming into my open house. You
Got it.
are a consumer coming into my open house.
Okay.
What do I need to be like? What do I need to do? What do I need to have? Do I need donuts? Do I need a price sheet or something? What is that for you as a consumer before you got your license? You don't have to write a book, you probably got enough written down right now, so what I recommend is let's go ahead and take a break, 10 minutes, so let's come back in here at about 10:42.
See me what you should say or do as well as what you have there for the whole thing.
What type of, if you want to identify something of speaking, how you want somebody to walk with you each step, you want somebody to lead you the hell alone, you don't have to be very specific in what the
Just kind of
communication,
general
but just kind of
thoughts.
general thoughts of, you as a consumer and your buying patterns.
Completely unrelated question for you, Terry. I started working on my GRI yesterday, going through ethics, all that jazz. It says in there that we, as agents, can ask other agents when their listings are expiring. And if they don't answer, we can contact the homeowner directly. I mean, it says it in there specifically. There are sample test questions that say that you have the right to ask the other agent when their listing is expiring. And if they don't provide the information, we can contact the seller. True?
It's interesting.
I mean.
Very interesting.
I never knew that. I mean, is that really true? Have you heard
It's in
that?
there, yes. I might not agree with it, though.
I don't agree with that.
Terry, by the way, Rob sent me a text and.
Staying closer to the screen and talk louder.
Yeah, I didn't look at my phone before, so. It's
I didn't either. I was like,
45 minutes ago.
I don't know if I can talk about, well, it's interesting because obviously these microphones are not being hooked in through this, so I gotta get that corrected. Because those pick up very clearly, so keep doing this. We need to make sure that's all good. Thank you, though. I guess we saw it about the same time.
Anybody else heard that about contacting other agents?
I haven't, but you said you learned it in the code of ethics?
Yeah, it's on the code.
I haven't done
I haven't done code ethics.
it yet, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Are you doing it online or the class?
Online,
Are you?
yeah, for the GRI.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm here. Okay, Debbie, I'm gonna ask you a question. I just asked Terry, he didn't know about it. I started working on my GRI yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Online, going through code of ethics first section.
Mhm.
It says that we can contact other agents and ask them when their listings are expiring.
Try.
And then if they don't answer, then we can contact the seller.
Yeah, that's yeah,
It's
out
in
there. I
there.
don't agree
It's
with it.
in there. No, I
I don't agree
couldn't
at all.
believe it.
And most sellers aren't gonna tell you. And you're
No,
gonna get your hand slapped by the listing agent.
right.
Say, you just grossed my
You
listing.
can't, yeah, you can't cry.
But-
Yeah.
By law, it's the same, it's the same as if you're in a multiple offer situation
Mhm.
and the seller says to their agent, you make sure you tell them how much the offer is. With direction from the seller, you can tell them.
Right.
It's the same kind of stupid.
But no, but yeah,
Anybody who's here for CE, please make sure you find this sheet. We're still looking for the roster for the others. I gave you guys already, guys, you already had your handout, you were here for CE, it was already done for you. It's up here, please make sure you take one of these if you want credit. Because it's the whole package you got had. Okay?
do you have the list from last week that you did that? I don't think I signed out.
I saw you though, I got you.
Oh, you did put it in the, okay, all right. I don't need to see you for today.
Oh,
I have to leave early.
okay. But we need this one. Okay. This is the actual program.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, you got it?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, you got it. Okay, good. God, it's cold in here.
I know it.
Holy jeez. These guys are long. All right, so Diane, CE, Robin, Honey, leaving, Jillian?
I've got to go show how, I'm probably going to be here until about 12.
Oh, well, that's fine.
Oh, is it? Okay,
You still probably gonna join in.
I'll sign it.
Make sure you sign in,
I'll
okay?
sign it. Yeah.
And those of you that are getting CE, there's a course evaluation, so please make sure you take one of those. The course evaluation, and please sign in there. Hey, Steve, how are you?
I'm fine, and I missed yesterday at 11. I was actually rental.
Well, that's okay, you're showing property over, I
I know,
get
but I
it.
meant to email you real quick, hey, whatever.
Whenever that happens, I always know that you're the client.
Okay.
I just always know that.
Okay.
Okay. No worries. Okay, so Denise didn't pick it up yesterday. Carrie might know and text her. Otherwise, I'm gonna be recreating that thing and you guys better know which classes you're in.
I'm Johnny Everett. I came over from Colorado. Oh, did you? And don't waste your time. Talk to her, you know. Let's see. Let's change that. No, I doesn't feel it's been good for me. Have you heard that about contacting the seller directly? Yeah. Unbelievable. I was like, what? I mean, that, I could just see all kinds of explosions come out of that. Oh.
Slam on that.
Just transitioning everything. Yeah. And you're getting your GI? I mean, you're just having the GRI stuff. Sorry. Have you done that through online? Well, that's what I thought too, and then I called the other day because they're changing the whole thing. Like, it's gonna be 3 parts and then you're good. You can take them out of order and all that stuff. So I was like, oh, okay. So then I wrote down mine and it's like, oh, we're changing the whole format. Effective September of this year. You've already started your grandfather with the old one. It's like, man, well, kind of the old program. Just start the old way and see where it ends up. So I'm sure it's challenging. It was the first, let's see. Did you do your pre-license online? No. Okay. I did it. I did it online too. And I was like, I wasn't done like Margaret, you probably were. No, I was done with a class or let's try to. So it's really hard to just force myself to do it. Well, and now to sit there and do 2 seconds. That's killing it. Be something more interesting, please. Well, then if it's online, you should be able to start training at one time, right? I'm sorry? If it's online, you should be able to start at one time. No, it's very structured. You have to go through it in a certain way. If there's any kind of audio, you have to send the audio all the way through it. And then you start a section, take a test with the other questions throughout, and then you gotta go back and do the same. You gotta remaster it, and then it goes through it again, and then you have to master it the second time. Yes, it's very rigid. It's not a.
But there's no specific start time.
Oh, okay.
And you have to start it next week.
Oh, yeah, you can start at any time. You just got 6 months to finish it.
Okay. So you might watch it every
Once we have the next two, and then we can go. Any questions so far? Comments? All right, we're gonna go ahead and start getting back in. Who wants to tell me what they got written down? Share one thing. Let's go around the room and each of you share one thing that you wrote down.
Professional.
Professional.
School district,
School district. What do you mean by when you say school district?
like, in the area, there is a place where they have the house. What's this, just a definition sheet.
Okay, information on the school district. Okay,
Just knowledgeable.
knowledgeable,
Market stats, okay.
market stats.
Yeah, I would have all that information. I would just, give them space, but follow them around and tell them about the house and good points about the house and area.
Give them space,
Easy to talk to.
easy to talk to.
I also wrote, I would want them to be kind of on point, you know, active and engaged, not like sitting on their phone or, you know, I want them to like acknowledge that we're there.
Okay. Mandy?
I would dress professionally. I mean, I know that sort of falls into be professional, but sometimes people don't dress right.
Yes, that blows me away. What
Ask
else?
them a general question, just, are y'all looking to buy a home, just to see why they came to the open house.
Well, remember, this is from what you expect from me as a consumer, so. put
They
it-
wouldn't expect it, okay.
I would want someone to ask me,
The reason why you're there, yeah.
My house neat and set up and nicely staged, looking good.
nicely staged home. What about, would you expect anything like cookies or stuff like that?
Sometimes they have water.
And what I do believe is if you're gonna have anything, just have water. You don't need to bake cookies. I think that's just kind of artificially done, but that's up to you. If you want to bake cookies and stuff and you need to get there, just make sure the owners are fine with you using their stuff. Or bring in whatever you want, but I do like the idea of just simply having water bottles, especially now that we're getting into warmer months.
So they put a big bucket in the sink and just with ice in it, so they can just pick the water out of the bucket.
Great idea.
Yeah.
You can get little stickers with your information on it, wrapped around the little plastic bottle, you have your contact information on there, say compliments of you. And that's just done by the printer and then see all the easel. What else?
Information on the property, like a handout, something to take with them, business cards. They have information.
If I don't like this house and I ask them about, are they aware of any other properties, then I want them to be able to have an answer. To recommend me to other neighborhoods that are similar, to know the traffic patterns, that kind of information too.
Yeah, how many people, I mean, I will tell you this, you can come up to South Forsyth, and if you work down off 400, there's about 5 different routes that you can go that depending on the time of day and the traffic patterns will make a substantial difference in the time it takes you to get to where you work. And that's a huge, huge thing. So finding out where people work and then saying, hey, let me tell you, and what times do you go to work? What time do you come home? Let me tell you the easiest way to get around there and educate them. It goes a long, long way. The other thing is, what about all the roadway changes going on around here? Knowing about those in advance, not just sitting there waiting for the trucks to start going out there and clearing, but if you go online and go to the engineering department for the counties and see a whole lot of different roadway changes that are going on for the next 3 to 5 years. And the better you can get to understand that, imagine how much more valuable you can be to somebody saying, oh, by the way, this road out here right now is pretty congested. In the next year, there's supposed to be widen it out to a 4-lane road. That will affect on the value if it's backing up to that. You know, a lot of times you'll see a home, it's on the outside of a neighborhood, it's got a lot of trees in between it and the road, but in 2 years, those trees will be cut out because the road's being widened, you know. Those things go a long way when you're able to educate somebody. That's how you bring value to you as an agent. Then that's how you become somebody go, I don't want to make that investment without working with that person. That's how you become invaluable to them. That's where everything's synergized around being the local expert and owning that better than anybody else does. And everything that you're learning here today, I did as a result of being 7 years in new home sales and what I had to do in that process, which, by the way, Centex's program was very much tied to a lower price point consumer. I had to go in every single room, and in every single room I had to point out 4 features. That feature benefit for the molding that they used on the floor, the ceiling, the molding, blah, 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 they have smooth ceilings. You had to know 4 points of each and every room. And I got to tell you, when I was worried about that, I didn't really tune in with what the people were looking for. And I went to my sales manager, and I said, hey, my sales wasn't that good anyway. I said, look, it's sink or swim. And after I was studying the different people, what they educated us on how to sell to somebody, I went and I told my boss, I said, hey, let me go about it my way and see if it works fine for me. It's either not going to work for me, and I'll go back to this, but I'm not doing that well, so let me see on this. So I use my model home. I have 40 different floor plans to sell somebody. When I was going through the experience that they wanted to, I'm pointing out everything and not really understanding what they wanted. It was difficult for me to go back and I'd make a stack of every floor plan was in the packet that I gave to people, and my sales were very low. So then when I went through and I said, I want to find out what they're looking for on the main level, right? And then I'll let them go through the rest of the model. And while they're doing that, I'll come back to my sales center and I'm going to get the 2 or 3 plans that fit what they're looking for based off what they just shared to me over there. And my sales started to go through the roof compared to what they were, because as opposed to me going and telling them every single little tiny thing, I was asking them what they wanted in a dining room, asking them what they wanted in a family room, how do they want the flow to be, do they want the backstroke or on the main? And then going back and going, hey, these are really the only 2 floor plans that I've got that match what you're looking for. And if I had them in construction out in the neighborhood, I would get in my car and I'd take them to the homes that were the floor plans being built. So I could walk them through and go, see, you said you wanted this type floor, or you wanted that. So that's what we're going to be talking about here, is a specific direction so that you guide people through without being on them every single step of the way. Most people, when they come in here, they go, if I'm a consumer, I want my space. I don't want somebody to be on top of me the entire time. So everything that we've designed was to be on them to ask what I call 50-50 questions. We'll go over that in a minute. And then give them space. And then go back to my sales center and look over the homes that I previewed that week and find which ones are a match for what they just told me that they're looking for in a home. And then I need to go take them to them. So we're going to think of it from the consumer's experience. I'm going to say, if I did all this for you and you came through my model home and you never knew me up until that point in time, how would you feel about me as a realtor? Right? And I think the answer will be good. Now, we're going to talk about being the expert, and I'm going to go through a couple of different things, because I do know one thing that gets hung up is people don't know what to do to go find the trends. I'm going to go off this here, and we're going to go pull up some different things so that as you look into going into a neighborhood, you can go in there and go, let me pull up some easy things that'll be memorable for you, and you can go out there and have something to make you look like an expert that'll be custom to what you can do. I'm technically challenged, so if you, and I imagine a lot of you are in here, technically challenged to some extent. You can do, Realtor.com and Zillow would be the 2 main sites that I would make sure, if I didn't do anything else, I at least put on Zillow and Realtor.com my open house times and the fact that it was being an open house. Because as you go look on those sites, it does flag off the homes on the map that are doing the open houses that weekend. You can also do Craigslist, social media, print ads, direct mail. You can do whatever you want, but you do need to do promoting around that open house and do it at the beginning of the week so that people have time to know that you see it. Your whole goal is to advertise to people that are curious about a market, that want to get educated as to the market before they get an agent involved. That's what you're looking for, okay? So, and on Craigslist, I'm mixed on that because for your protection, there are some whacks on Craigslist, and I'd rather you not post on Craigslist, but some agents feel compelled to do that, and just want to point that out. But for me, I would prefer that y'all do not advertise on Craigslist. Okay? Anybody had any experiences and stuff like that?
No, but I've got a question because I had an open house recently and I used FMLS, the GOH, to put it into the system. And I think it pushed all the way to Zillow and ShirleyYoungRealtor.com by my starting point. I didn't have to go to Zillow and say, my listing.
What was that on?
Just an FMLS. One of those tabs is GOH, which is Georgia Open Houses. So you can put your listing as an open house on whatever date, and it shows up in FMLS, but then it pushes.
That's great. That's awesome.
I
Good
think it
information.
does.
Y'all check that out. That wasn't around when I was acting as an agent, but that sure would be a simpler way because I went in there and actually plugged in the different ones. So check that out. And let me know on that if you can just double check on that because I'd like to tell everybody at the next sales meeting. Okay, so what's some information that you guys can bring in and build a packet? Oh, before we get to the packet part, I actually have a letter here, and I want to look at it from you as a consumer's point. I have to get a couple of others made, but each of you will have a copy of this. And I want you to look this over. This is from when I did open houses in Old Atlanta Club. And I'll read it to you because now I'm down to the last one, but two that don't get it. Dear potential home buyer, thank you for taking the time to visit my open house held in the Old Atlanta Club. This packet contains some information about the local Forsyth real estate market and the facts from 6 months ago through today. The market has shown some solid signs of improvement and is in a very solid direction. Pricing has been rising over the last couple of years, and supply has dropped significantly over the last year. Demand is increasing, and well, here's the deal. Y'all go ahead and read the rest of it. But my question is, read it over, and then as a general consumer, if you have this in a packet that I hand to you, you walk out the door, I was busy that day, and you didn't really get to talk to me much, how do you feel about me as a professional realtor stacked up against the others that do not take the time to do a letter like this and try to educate the consumer with some nice, non-threatening, non-aggressive approach?
I've been to many open houses, I've never received anything like this, so this alone would make me stand out to me.
I agree.
You pay me to say that.
Yes.
You get a dark t-shirt.
Anybody else, generally speaking? And by the way, here's why I put it together. Remember, my background came from new home sales. We had to know and do so much more than typical general agents. And all I did was take that experience over here and go, hey, I want to develop something that I believe most consumers would like to have. And from that, I made the letters, and what I want you to realize is most agents that take on a listing do not act like an on-site new homes agent. And that's what tends to miss out on lifestyle, selling lifestyle. And agents will take buyers and they'll go, let's say you got 5 homes in Chattahoochee River Club to go show. The agents that are showing the buyers, you got something coming up right behind you. The agents will take out the buyers, they go show them the 5 homes. They don't go show them the horse trails. They don't go show them the river that's there. They don't show them and walk them around the amenities that are great and rich. And so the general perception of the consumer is they can only evaluate do they want to live in Chattahoochee River Club based off the homes they see versus the lifestyle that's offered there. So a home in Chattahoochee River Club may cost $25,000 more than a home down the street, But if the people got engaged in what was actually there in Chattahoochee River Club, they may be willing to pay the $25,000 difference versus going down the street and only be comparing it by the home size. Happens all the time. So what my challenge is that you guys go out there and go, I'm going to operate and act like an on-site salesperson that really knows this neighborhood. I'm gonna come up with a letter, I'm gonna go walk the streets, I'm gonna see our sidewalks, I'm gonna see in the sections, what are the different sections? You'll have sections in Chattahoochee River Club, sections in Old Atlanta Club. You need to know, what are the standard features in there? Are there side entry garages throughout the neighborhood? Grand Cascade says 90% of their homes are side entry garages, they're on septic systems. People driving Grand Cascades versus Old Atlanta Club go, ooh, the builder cared about this neighborhood, they got larger lots. No, they had septic systems and they had to do a half-acre lot. In Old Atlanta Club, they've got their own wastewater treatment facility, so they go smaller lots. They start a third an acre. That's valuable information. But in the appearance of the neighborhood, you drive through Old Atlanta Club, you'll see more front entry garages. And some people go, I don't like that. I like the feel of Grand Cascade so much better. Well, it's because you got septic systems. What are the amenities? Go walk the amenities. Go feel what they are. Go stand in the stands of the tennis courts. Go watch a weekend where they're playing tennis. How's their outdoor program? What's USTA like? Go see the clubhouse inside. These are the things that agents don't take the time to do when they have a listing. And you miss out on the opportunity with agents. Oh, that's overpriced. You got to own it. You got to guide it. You got to run with it. And we're talking about a letter that I just gave out to Denise. So for the open houses, I'll make sure that there's 3 of you that should be copies. I'll make sure that you get them if you want them. But that is acting like an on-site sales professional and having something that maybe they don't have to work with you, but I will promise you this, you put something like this together on every neighborhood that you want to start working with, you're going to look like the best knowledgeable real estate consultant that people know out there, period. If you do that over time and you put this type of information in front of people's eyes and get in their hands, how many people would evaluate you on a very high level versus what they're getting out there? That's how everything kind of comes together. Now, we're going to move on. Any other comments on that? By the way, is that easy to get? Pretty easy to get. You go walk in the neighborhood, ask your sellers, hey, can you give me the homeowners association president? I'd like to call them and maybe get some background information on that association, make sure that they're clean on things, but maybe they have information that'll make the letter very easy for you to write. Okay? But don't just copy their stuff. This is a letter from you. So you don't just go, oh, here's the HOA stuff and copy them. You go write a letter that says your interpretation of what that community offers. Okay? So be the expert. What can you provide to look like the expert of an area? We're going to go offline here. We're going to look at neighborhoods. So if we were to go in and say, what are neighborhood trends and statistics that you could look for, that you could print up, again, in a letter format. I don't want you to print up an FMLS printout. What I want you to do is start creating and writing your own stuff that is from FMLS, but it's going to be like this letter. It's going to be from you to them and your interpretation of something. If you just copy and paste, then it's something you just went online and copy and paste. If you write it in a little letter format and put it in your packet, you look like a shining star versus just somebody that's doing a quick little fix. Does that make sense? So I thought, I talk about this a lot, and there's some very simple things that you guys can do, but if I don't show you how easy it can be, sometimes you'll never even get to the point of getting there. You walk out of here and don't do anything with it. So we're going to walk through a little exercise, class time, so I need participation. So, we'll go to FMLS. And you have on there actually y'all don't have on there what I had down. This is something I put in there this morning because some of the charts that you got in that packet are not relevant for today. So there's charts in there, so I went in there and added the stuff that's relevant today that you can go on FMLS and do. So let's look at the neighborhood. Who wants to throw out a decent sized neighborhood they know about that we can go look at?
Long Lake.
Long Lake, great. Okay, we're going to look at Long Lake. Does everybody know Long Lake? Doesn't sound like it. Okay, so that's in area 221. And Long Lake is one word, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what we want to do is really just take a quick snapshot of the neighborhood. And right now you can see that there are 6 actives from 355 to, can y'all see that by the way? To 474.9. There's a contingent contract that's in due diligence, and then there's a contingent contract that's a straight up contingent contract. What's the difference in those two, by the way? Contingent due diligence versus contingent?
Usually,
So here we have CONDD, and here we have CONTG. What's the difference?
is one out of the due diligence period?
No, one means we are contingent and we have a home to sell. And it's not under contract right now, therefore it's completely contingent, okay? Are these good for you as an agent if you're working with a buyer? If you see one, there's low inventory right now. I would be going and calling contingents and saying, hey, tell me, what is the deal with that? Is it a strong contingency? Are they gonna be able to remove it? Or are you really waiting on the home to sell that has no interest in it right now? You may be able to open some doors for buyers that right now could be shut, but this is a good opportunity right now, just because there's low inventory. I would be calling contingent contracts, not this one. This means it's a firm contract, but it's in the due diligence phase. That's a strong contract right there, but you might want to call and say, hey, how's the due diligence going? But these right here, the contingencies, those would be ones worth a call to see what is going on with that. The 6 active sales, active homes, from 355 to 474. And whenever I go look at a home or a market, I look at one, what's the low side and what's the high side. So if you were to look at this neighborhood right here, goodbye. What is your, just off the actives, what is your opinion of the neighborhood's values? It's off the actives, so it's not as important as what's sold. We have 2 in 3s, mid to high 3s, and there's 4 in the low to high 4s.
So between 300 and 450. 400.
So who could say anything off of that? Where would you think if you got 355 to 474 and there's a pretty even spread in there, what would you say just off this? What would you say is the main meat and potatoes potentially of that neighborhood? Value-wise. Any answers okay? I'm going to see how you guys think, so come on. We're either going to have an hour and a half of silence or we're going to have some, okay, it's up to you.
What do you mean, like,
On
are they
average,
basement or
they're
not,
not
or
starting
what?
with $1,000.
I want you to tell me whatever your interpretation is of whatever I'm asking. I want to get your juices flowing. I want to find out how do you think right now. So right now, let's just say that there's no right or wrong answer. I just want interpretations of what you heard me ask and what you believe based off just the actives, 6 actives, from 355 to 474.9. What would you assume might be the main meat and potato sales or value of that neighborhood?
350, we said 400. I think the higher floors might be 400.
I would say 425.
Yeah, 425.
Yeah, so, very good. Now we're getting somewhere. So usually, okay, so here's one thing. If you're talking meat and potatoes, I like being there just a little tiny range in there. So as opposed to saying 425, although the end result will be right about that. You might say in a situation like that, probably your main meat and potatoes, just off the actives, which is this is less important, but would be somewhere from, let's say, 375 to 425, most likely, based off what is there. And I'm just trying to kind of have you see what I go through when I'm looking at a market and when I look at a neighborhood, some quick stats that I can drop to people that just sound better than what they actually are. Because I'm going to tell you guys this, if you go out there and you just start making, if you start making some theories and you get into really challenging yourself and going into different neighborhoods and go, what are the meat and potatoes in here? What's the high and low, the average? What's this year's sales versus last year's sales for the same given time? If you get into a repetitive thing of going in and getting excited and go, hey, I want to go look at all the neighborhoods in the South Forsyth High School District or Lambert or Westford, wherever your high school district is, go start looking at every neighborhood like this and go, where's the meat and potatoes? Where's the main push of that neighborhood? And start getting them down like this, you're going to absolutely start to excel so much more. But you've got to play these games and start just kind of going, what does this mean? And then the more that you can go out there and start saying what it means to you, people will follow along so much better with you than you not doing this. And then when they ask you a question, well, where should my home be listed? You're not going to sound that good, but if you go through this, and hey, this is part of your game. This should be part of your everyday practice right now until you get very professional. Hello, Miss Who's Next. How are you?
Not me.
Did everybody hear what happened to Miss Denise last week in Washington, D.C.? Look at that nice surgical hand that she's got.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I've been better. But it's getting better every day, so.
She fell in the street or something. I don't know what
I
happened.
tripped on the sidewalk, just call me Grace from now on. So.
Well, welcome back. How was your meeting today?
It was excellent. It was
I'd like
unbelievable.
information on that person because I might want to have them come in here.
Okay.
Okay, so that's just a real quick scope. And so we're gonna go over to the pending sales and solds for the last 6 months. And I'm gonna ask you guys the same question off the pending sales and solds. Okay, that's gonna be the most important part of what are the real meat and potatoes. But I want you to keep thinking of this. Now, also when I'm looking at something on this, I want to pay attention to the bedroom and bathroom arrangements. So you got that over the side. You got 6, 5, 5, 3.5, 4, 2.5, 3, 2.5, 5, 4, 4, 2.5. That's a pretty broad blend of homes right there. So there's not much that you can get from that outside of going, there's a broad range, and there's probably somewhere between 375 and 425 is a good acceptable number that if I'm in that wedge, I should be able to sell fairly easily. If I get above 425 in this neighborhood, it's probably gonna be a little bit more challenge based off just this little snapshot, okay? Any questions? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, X out of these things. And by the way, you can do a quick CMA on each of them so that you say, have the actives, one, there's this many actives. So if I'm putting this in a letter, I'm going to say there's currently today there are 6 actives going from 355 on the low side up to 470, 49 on the high side. I want to find out dive into those actives and then say how many of them are on slabs, how many of them are in basements, how many of them have finished basements. And I want to go into the information to be able to put all that stuff on paper because most agents don't go that deep. So really you want to go, hey, let's go the extra mile and let's really push some stuff out there that would mean something to the consumer. Look at this, we've got 5 pendings right now. 5 pendings. Is that good?
That's good.
That's real good, okay? You got 6 sold that have sold and closed in the last 6 months. Let's look at the prices. Isn't this interesting? All the solds, last 6 months, up to 385, 315 up to 385. So, let me ask you this, without looking at the pendings, because the pendings, now you got 359, 364, 424, 439, 445. Think about this market right here. What might this tell you? All the solds in the last 6 months that have already closed, none of them sold above $400,000. Yet the pendings, they're starting to surge up in the 4s more than they're in the 3s. What is going on?
People are trying to get more for their house.
Well, I think if you see parties, one, either the price is increasing, or 2, it just hasn't sold yet and they're not getting what they're asking. It just appears that they are, because that doesn't mean that it's selling at the price. That can be.
That's true. That just shows the list price. But now you're in the 400s under contract, right? So who here knows Long Lake very well? Anybody? Who said let's look at Long Lake?
Mandy,
Maybe, too much of that.
I should have been there, but like.
Long Lake, fine.
I know, yeah, but I don't know much about it.
So I know there's different sections in there, right? So you go dig a little deeper, but it is interesting that we've seen neighborhoods in the past where all the actives are higher than what has sold, and the neighborhood will just get stuck, right? Until those homes start to get down to where the buyer's patterns and perceptions of that neighborhood is acceptable buying there. This could have gone through somewhere. These could be in the higher price section, but it's a 4, 3.5, not even a 4, 3.5, 5, 3.5, 4, 3.5, 5, 4, 4, 2.5. So I would recommend digging further into that, and they're all around the early 2000s as far as what they were originally, what their age range is.
Some include lawn service, I do know that. I don't know which ones those are.
Based off this, and let's say we'll put the pendings in there as well. What is your meat and potatoes in your opinion of that neighborhood now?
400.
Love for it.
I would say
Range.
three,
Oh, right.
350,
350, 375.
yeah. 350, 375, I do.
375, 400.
You said 375. Earlier.
I'd say 350 to 400 is the main meat and potatoes in there. Maybe even go up into the low fours, just because now you're starting to see a push in that. But 445 is the highest one that's pending right now. So let me ask you this. Let's say that you have the listing at 474.9, right? And the people are going, whose fault is it, by the way? Is it them for wanting that higher price, or is it yours? Whose fault is it in their opinion?
It could be either.
It's ours.
It's yours, right?
We're always-
He's still
Right now.
on the lane.
The last 6 months of sales goes up to 449.9 as far as what the list price was. 445. You have the home listed at 474.9.
Hey,
I come to you, Jillian, and I say, Jillian, you know, my home's a lot nicer than that one at 445. So what are you gonna do more to market my home so you can get the right buyer in there? Because I haven't had many showings, and really, you just need to do more marketing. Because my home's worth it.
I'm gonna do an open house for you, Terry.
Good bless.
but Terry.
Right answer for this class, wrong answer for reality.
But Terry, some of the houses are on the lake too, that's why that neighborhood.
Yeah, that's a premium on that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
But let's just say that this is all the data that you gotta go by. I'm listed at 474.9.
Because
In
my
the
house is
last
on
6
the lake.
months, nothing has sold. The highest price, list price was 445. Is that a challenge sale?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Who wants to try and tackle that somewhat with me? My home's 474.9. You're my agent. That one just went under contract, and my home, in my opinion, it's a lot nicer. I've got a better lot. My exterior's nicer, the basement's so much nicer.
I wish I could get that price for you, but unfortunately, the market dictates price. Now, what I can do is show you any upgrades that they have that maybe you were not aware of, but ultimately, it's the consumer that dictates what the price is, what the market's going to be for this neighborhood.
I would take them to the comps that are currently active.
What can that do?
That shows them what reality is.
But they're always gonna say what, my home.
Oh, they're always gonna think it's smart.
So my home's always better than ones that you're, I'm gonna be in it, what we're gonna be doing is arguing back and forth because mine's always better. All right, so we just gotta think through this stuff. We're not really gonna cover that deep into it, but is that a challenge? You got the highest price listing. People are belligerent because they believe they got the best home in the neighborhood, and it should be at $35,000 or $30,000 more than what the other home is. Do you have buyers that are looking for 450 to 500 going in this neighborhood? Well, you don't.
Not really.
You might.
Not many.
You might, but here's the deal. Have they bought anything above 450? No.
No.
So that home is positioned in the wrong buyer block for that neighborhood. That neighborhood is not drawing in that 450 to 500 buyer, period, okay? How can you get them to come down? Those are little strategies and stuff, but I just want to see. That is a perfect example, though, of things that you'll be coming across out there. What could you use in this of the, okay, so here we have pendings and solds for the last 6 months. Who in here would say, here's what I would do with that? What would you want to put in a package that you're going to be showing somebody walking into an open house, the trends going on in this neighborhood? Based off of that information right there, what would you guys like me to segment out, package up so we can look at different things and say, here's something good that would be good for Long Lake and what you could take to the market?
I mean, like, how many has sold, or the price range that they have sold in, and how many that are pending, and how the prices are,
Prices are increasing.
yeah,
It appears.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's easy to figure that out. Just one statistics from it.
Well,
So,
I'll
what
let
can
you
you
know
do to
that
get
it's a
some
good
sta-
community to buy into because there's a lot of, it's a desirable neighborhood, otherwise you would not have all this activity. So I would definitely let them know that.
Yeah,
It's a good
but
neighborhood.
what is something specific that you could take from this? One, we know 6 have closed in the last 6 months, 4 or 5 are currently pending. your high and the low of things that have sold is this. That's obvious, 315 up to 385. What's your median and average price of that? You need to go in there. How do you do that? How do you find out what the median and average prices of things that have sold? How do you do that?
Just quick.
Click down and do quick CMA.
What do you want me to
Ask
click on?
numbers together.
Quick see.
Click on the top button.
Fine. So I
Yeah,
can-
And
check
then
them
so
all.
highlights everything.
Well, you can't do them all because you can only do the solds, because that's what you got the closing prices on, right?
Okay.
Then just click. Let's see.
And now what?
Quick
Quick
CMA.
CMA.
You can't see in the back.
So, sold price, minimum value 315, high value 385, average value is 346. You've got your sales price to original list price, 95.49%. And I just do the average on that. I wasn't worried about the other days on the market. Are those three things important to the consumer? What could you take from this and show them, hey, here's a trend that's going on in here? If you took the same exact 6-month time period of where you're standing today and go back, so we go back into the system for Long Lake and we go back 1 year, right? And you go plug in the dates. What is the 6-month time period that's in the calendar? And you go back 1 year and you plug in those exact dates. And you say, I want to know what's sold in Long Lake during that time period 1 year ago, so that I can show people, is the neighborhood on the rise for that 6-month time period? Is it on the fall? And how the days on the market? How's the average original list price to sales price? What's the average price? Would that be valuable information for someone to see? Good, bad, or indifferent, right? Let me ask you this: what if, in this case, what if Long Lake was actually sold higher because maybe they had more of the lake properties and stuff sell? What if it sold at a higher price average last year at the same time, and all of a sudden you're showing people that it's actually lower during this time period? Do you put that in there or do you not?
You do put it in there, should not. It should be accurate information.
You put it in there. What if you found that the homes were lower priced? What would you put in there? I mean, what? This is my opinion. You need to put in a paragraph that explains what may be going on. Okay. In this case, if it was lower, you could say, hey, you'll notice that last year at this time, for the exact same 6 months, the price was actually higher. The days on the market were shorter, and your average price was actually closer, your average percentage was closer, but here's what's going on. We've just now seen a recent surge in the pendings of the up into the 4s. So over the next couple of months, the neighborhood's average price is going to rise significantly because of what's currently under contract. Okay? Does that make sense? That's the stuff that you put in writing that other agents are not doing. That it doesn't happen overnight, that unless you start to do this stuff, and what you need to do, you need to come in here and sit down with me and go, let me take a stab at this, because I really want to be as good as I can, and I know the more that I do of this, it's just a repetitive thing where you go, I got it, it's a formula, you follow it, don't duplicate it.
Plus, look at how much.
Is that, and by the way, you don't just take this and plop it on the sheet. You take the high, the low, the average, and that, and you put it into your written form, so it looks like you did all the research to get to this point, because you really did. But don't just copy that. Worst thing you could do. I always want you to look like, I want the consumers to be looking and going, wow, they really know what they're doing. And hopefully every time you will. So your interpretation of the market is vitally important when you're doing open houses, and the stuff that you bring to the table. I want your package to have them go, if I'm evaluating you off the package that you've gotten, and at the end of the day, I can't remember who we talked to, all I've got to go by is what's here in front of me. I want you to stand out way beyond the others, so that if the other people, somebody else did deliver a good experience face to face, and you did too, and the only thing that sets you apart of the package you put together, you're going to win, right? So that's all I want this working from. And by the way, this takes time. It's not easy to be able to spit it out, but I can look at these numbers and go, hey, here's my interpretation. Most of the neighborhoods, by the way, when you do what 6-month time period this year versus 6-month time period last year, are they going up or are they going down? Most of them are going up. If they're not, it's typically because something in that last year, they had some of the highest price sales in that neighborhood going on. That can happen. But most of the neighborhoods that we're seeing, they're all spiking up a good bit. When you compare them, you go, wow, that's a neighborhood I want to be in. And by the way, is that information that as you're going to invite people to the open house, do you think they're going to want to know that? So come up with the packet and then take the information around and go, hey, thought you might want to know what your neighborhood's doing in the last 6 months this year versus last year. That's stuff that they will hold on to. Go door knocking, invite, trends. Easy. Okay? All right, so now we're going to go do the high school stuff. Any questions or comments around this?
Another thing I do is I'll download it and do a pivot table for them out of the data. Because all you have to do is check on it and export the grid, and it'll give you all the information. You can make your own grid on the information you want.
Say that again.
I know.
When I do it, I have a grid that I do for data that I put in how many bedrooms there are, the price and everything. And then I export it into Excel and I do a pivot table that shows how much the prices were and how many days. And it just automatically does it for me. I don't have to do anything but highlight, and it makes it easy. And it looks like that, look at the supply chart and whatever that you're doing, so.
How do you get to that? If you do the CMA?
If you're on the front sheet here, and you click on that, like, just for data, it has had bedrooms and baths in there. You click on that top left corner, it'll take everything in there.
Yes.
And then you click on the, I think it's the wheel up there. And then you export, well, no, not that one, sorry. Results. Why can't I think? My brain is not working right now. There it is, export right there.
Yeah.
And it takes all that data and it just sticks it down into Excel. And when you open it up in Excel, you can just highlight the data and then say create pivot table, and you can just drag whatever you want to compare into it.
Okay. I've got that being pulled up over there. Now,
I think I have to-
on this one, I would look out for the high school districts. I'd look down and say, okay, one, there's 132 pending. Is that good or bad? Pretty decent, right? So, but I really want to kind of dive into the solds in the last 6 months to really come up with some conclusive stuff of what we've done. So I just want to know pendings, there's 132. The thing that I pay attention to for all of you guys right now is pay attention to what's the high number. This is what fascinates me. Right now, the highest price sale in South Forsyth High School pending is $1.19 million. Now look at this. A pending sale, you can assume happened in the last 30 days, right? It hadn't closed yet. It's been through the due diligence. It's a firm contract. Highest price, 1.19. You got 1 in 924th dime, 2 in the 8th. There's a slow off happening, guys. So pay attention to this. Go get into these numbers right here. This is just for your business going forward. You get into the 6s, and all of a sudden, in the area 221 South Forsyth High School, through the 6s, we're doing okay. But just this above 6s in the area 221 is cautionary right now. And I believe it's only going to be more cautionary moving forward because more homes are being put on the market in that range, and you're not increasing the number of buyers yet. I think those homes are going to start to get more aggressively priced, and then you have to couple that with the builders that are coming in this pocket that have 5, 6, 7s, and 8s in their building line versus where it was before. This is what to watch. All right, so, and I'm not a doomsday person, so don't think that. I'm just saying, pay attention to that. There's going to be opportunity for the sharp ones. So, we're going to come back in and take out the pending, go back in, and we want to check all. And we're just gonna do a quick CMA. And let's see here. We got the average price, the average list price was 707. The sales price was 688. Let's see, that doesn't make any sense. That one has 25 sold, and then there's more than 25. So I always got to make sure that you've got the right information plugged in there too. What happened? Who can tell me what happened? Because I don't know what happened.
Another page.
Oh, I got to check that. Oh, okay. There's a good little lesson. If you check a little box that spoke that we thought would check all of them, you got to go to the thing that says all. Now we'll go back in and do a quick scene. Okay. So, again, all you're gonna do is go back into the last 6 months. You got your minimum value of 75,000 as a sold price, high value 1,065,000, and the average sales price of 411,858. That's pretty high. That's pretty good. This area's gone up a lot, and this is South Forsyth High School. Your percentage of the sold price versus the asking price, 95.11 is the average, and 73 days on the market. Is that a healthy, strong market? Yeah, that's pretty good. Your days on the market is probably going up here. This is average. It used to be about 97% just a couple months ago, but this was in the mid threes, so that's gone up a good bit. So you've had 223 sales in the last 6 months for South Forsyth High School, 123 or 132 pendings. You do the high and low on those. You do the average. Is that valuable information that people are bringing to the table for open houses today? I don't see that. I'm talking about, you see people, agents, bringing this information to the open houses. If you're a consumer, and I have this stuff for you, and I do it at my own, how do I look compared to all the others? Okay? So, but this is all that, to me, all that you really need to do is get in the habit of high-low average, percentage of price versus what the list price was, days on the market, compare this 6 months, go back a year, compare to the exact same date, 6 months, do the same comparisons of the high-low, the average, the asking price, the list price, and the days on the market, and you have a pretty darn decent package for looking like a master of the trends, and it's very easy for you to get to. So I just want to kind of walk you through that and go, how easy is this to get? Pretty darn easy. If you need help with anything, just come grab us. I'll be more than happy to help you walk through that. Any questions, comments, or anything on that? So far, is there anything that we're talking about that you feel like you can't do or wouldn't do or wouldn't want to do? So everybody's going to start doing this and they're going to feel great about it, right? So now we're at discussion time. And you know what this requires? It requires input. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to break off into 2 little groups. 4 of you, 3 of y'all. This is my perception. Here's what I want you to think about. 1, I want y'all to shut your eyes right now. And we're going to go down a little trick. You guys have the ultimate undue pleasure of going to buy a car today. And I want you to imagine that you pull up to the car lot. And you're getting out of the car, and you know that you have to buy a car. Now, I really want you to think about what you're feeling at this point in time. Now, open your eyes. And I want you to tell me and tell everybody, what were you thinking when you pulled up to that car lot? What was going through your head of the experience that you were getting ready to partake in?
Dread.
Dread, why?
Because chances are very good, I'm gonna have to talk with a very pushy salesperson.
We got 2 heads not in the back row there.
You know, you always get the run around, it largely seems like a a waste of time because, you know, they'll tell you, this is the best price, this is the best price. And, you know, you just really want someone to be straight with. It's not a game. And so that's frustrating for me as a
Okay.
consumer.
Anybody else got anything they want to add? That was a pretty good little depiction, and I know you guys are back there going, yes, that's pretty much exactly what I was thinking.
I'm totally different. I felt excited, I mean, I'm excited that I'm gonna drive away with a brand new car and.
See, we're gonna freak on this one here. Has anybody here ever had a great experience buying a car?
Yeah.
Great. And it's when you have that, you go, when you think about this, you go, God, I think I'm gonna buy every car in a few. That was a good experience. Do you go do that again with the same person?
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes. Sometimes you forget about it, right? And then sometimes you go in there, you see something online that elicits you to go get what you want. That's nothing to do with that person. So here's the
Can I
reality.
say why I didn't forget my salesperson?
Why? Because it's your husband?
Because he still stays in touch with me.
That's right. Two things to remember this out of being a real estate agent. One, when you close with somebody, make sure that you follow up with them on a regular basis so that they remember what you are. 80% of people that bought a home with a realtor said they would use that same realtor again, but they just can't remember who it was when it came time to sell their home. They didn't have that experience, they forgot about it. Okay, so always remember to follow up with them. 80% of the people said they would use the same agent. They couldn't remember how to get in touch with them or anything when it came time to use them. The other thing is, in the formula, we've got to come up with what I call your process is going to, I want y'all to write this down. We're going to come up with this. It's called the X 50-50 70 factor. X 50-50 70. X 50-50 70. This is your open house map. And after each open house, when you have anybody walk in your door, you got to go back at the end of the day and go, did I achieve the X 50-50 70 factor? The X is what we call getting the X off their chest. You guys said for free here, you guys had the negative experience thought process and you're going to go, oh my God, I know what I'm looking for and I sure don't want to be bothered by that used car aggressive salesperson that's going to be coming out to talk to me and try to sell me something I don't want. And guess what? You have to accept this. Most, if not all, the people that be coming into an open house, they've had a negative experience with another agent. They're not going, hey, I can't wait to go meet some kind person that's sitting behind this door. They're coming to it going, I've got X on my chest and I really don't want to talk to you. Leave me alone. And you have to come up with something in the beginning that gets the X off their chest. Then, as you get beyond that, you're going to have to come up with 50-50 questions. What a 50-50 question is, I'm going to give you two examples. And then as a group, you're going to have to come up with what would be a way to get somebody's X off their chest. What would be your opening statement? It can be humor. It can be serious. It can be whatever you want it to be. But I want y'all to kind of talk about you as a consumer. What would have you be relaxed when you walk in the door? Understand you're walking up going, I really don't want to be sold something. And I know that this agent's going to try to sell me something.
You have one month for Jim Brett.
What would somebody have to tell me to get me to relax? And then, what are some 50-50 questions that you can ask somebody to get them to talk about what they like or don't like about, and you're gonna look at this home that you're in that day as your model home. Just like when I was selling at Syntex, and I had my 40 different plans. I had my one model home, and I'd use that to find out what they wanted in their home, and then go back and narrow it down to 2 to 3 floor plans that work for them. So, here's one of the questions that is a 50-50 question. Do you like the size of this dining room or do you need something larger? It's the either or. I'm in the model home. Do you like the size of this dining room or do you need something larger? The second one I will give you. Kitchen. You got color cabinets. Do you like the color of these cabinets, or do you want something lighter? So let's assume there's cherry cabinets that you were showing. Do you like the color of these cabinets, or do you want something lighter? Those are what I call 50-50 questions. So what you're gonna do in your little groups is I want y'all to openly talk about, one, what would an opening statement be that would help you be relaxed as a consumer and go, this person's not going to sell me the home. I'll tell you what mine was. And then I want you to come up with 50-50 questions for the foyer, the dining room, the family room, the master bedroom, and the kitchen. You don't have to come up with 4 or 5. If you come up with 2 decent ones in each of those areas, we're totally fine. So, you 4 get together, you 3 get together. The opening statement needs to be done first. That's to get the X off the chest. Mine was, I'm Terry Swanson, Century 1. Results at that time. Come on in, you can make any comments you want. You will not offend me. I do not own the home, so feel free to make whatever comments you want. That's my opening statement. Okay? My point to them was, you can trash this home, I really don't care. I don't own it, and I'm not gonna try to sell it to you. That's what I used to tell everybody when I meet them at the front door when they were walking in the foyer. Okay? So, take a couple minutes. I'm gonna find out what Roger said, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna have a little discussion time. Okay?
Opening statement.
Great, doesn't it?
So cool.
That's not saying it says, but I always say, I don't know if it's a cool one. I am so glad you're here. I can't wait for you to see the property.
I got this one or two.
I mean, to me, that's not threatening, but.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Somebody
I say,
was-
hey, come on in, take a look.
Yeah, I say, hey, thanks so much for coming. I appreciate you taking the time to stop by. That's normal. That's a normal.
Well, a lot of them just walk in like that.
To get that.
You know, hey, how you doing? I go, hey, come on in, take a look. You know,
Let me know what you think.
I don't follow her.
Hello?
I don't follow her.
You found it?
I'm just saying. it's
I saw it yesterday
Nickel
at the end of that table when I was leaving.
We all did,
Yeah, we'll talk.
and it's gone. So.
yeah, I know. Sometimes I'll hang around.
I think you just picked.
It depends, sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't.
I'll ask them, so would you like me to show you the property, or would you like to
Today-
meander through by yourself? You know, and then she'll tell me, and almost everybody says, oh, I love you, so that's the thing about it.
I need you to.
So you just-
Well, I kind of, you know, I may follow upstairs, and I said, well, now this over here is the master. You usually don't know which one is the master when you walk up, that kind of thing. And then,
Now,
just-
have you
and
missed any
then I'll
calls?
just stand in the hall, so if you have any questions,
We
or
haven't done
this,
this.
you know, be sure to see this.
So the first thing we will probably always say is.
And go right up to your-
Thank
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
And thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
coming, we're so glad you're here.
Just a general greeting.
Yeah. Thanks.
I'm so happy here. My name is this. Please let me know if I can help you with. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah. It's the first one. Okay, you're
Oh, I
good.
did?
No.
Okay, I got him.
We missed this one.
Okay, that's Monday. Yeah.
You know what classes you?
Yeah.
Terry does a good job.
So thanks for coming, my name is.
These
I
are
don't have any
so-
questions.
So animated.
He's infectious.
Yeah.
You just gravitate.
Yeah, you do. We haven't done that, we'll do that Monday.
I'd be happy
Good.
to anyway. I can,
Okay.
you know, and then at that point, you're just.
Rob said,
it's all
I
hands
said,
on.
he said, I am not
And
touching
then
that thing.
they
I
would
said, he said,
come to us.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's gonna be good enough for him, but I'm not gonna tell the person it's not my house, I don't care what you think.
I don't know.
I
do that.
I know, yeah.
I was just.
Sometimes I get a little nervous when people
Yes.
live there. I'm afraid
It's
if you
Carrie
go
was sitting up here
upstairs,
yesterday.
you know, I
And so I
look
said,
at the
let's
drawers.
text Carrie.
You know,
Maybe she just
so-
picked it up.
It depends.
And
Yeah,
it's
I know, the
fine.
last one I
It's
did
just that
was
when people
was
come in to
taking
make up
them
classes,
Oh, yeah.
people do that, I'm like,
working late.
Yeah, that needs to
So I was
work.
about ready to go.
Sure.
So I went upstairs after him, so.
that's 1 and 2, we weren't here for
my
that.
back went
And
out,
then
that's
we.
what I was doing. I'll go ahead.
There's
Stairs.
Turn around.
And questions.
Okay, so then I think that's pretty much it for us for the first question, don't you think?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming, my name is.
I think you could find out the address for the kitchen and dining room. Oh, a lot of people I know don't even care about dining rooms.
Okay, I would say, like for the foyer, I would say, do you prefer a one-story or two-story foyer?
And the same thing with the
No,
kitchen.
no, this is for focus specifically. That's part of the focus class. Okay, and I'm taking that away. We did create this.
Don't be in here fraternizing with these people.
I'm recreating.
For a foyer that's wider than this one?
That's all I know.
So two questions for each,
Thank you.
right?
Oh, I was gonna say, how do you like this one?
Well, he
Or
wants you
is it two?
it's
Oh, the
Yeah.
50-50.
So you got to say, you gotta give them the opportunity to choose between one bathroom or the other. So
If
maybe,
you guys all come up with
do
something.
you
then there's
like
something crap.
this foyer,
So
I
you
want
gotta
to
come up
or
with
something more
something
narrow?
stupid that you can say, and you get down and practice it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if you
Or
don't
maybe
practice it,
well
then the
lit
first time somebody
or
goes,
darker?
"Oh, I'm gonna go, I'm up right over in the corner."
The foyer, I'm thinking so wide or
I've never done
narrow.
so,
What do you think of, what do you think is more?
but if somebody
Or
said.
do you like this foyer
That's a
or-
question. If somebody said,
More cozy?
you're not gonna offend me, and by the way, you guys want to.
Formal or informal?
Yeah, formal and informal.
Here's a little, survey, you wanna, check things off as you go through the house, and just leave the feedback, that would be great. And you can say, dining room, big enough, not big enough, check one.
I would say you could
bedroom,
find maybe an 8-seated,
Yeah,
an
just have little things like
8-person
that
or
that you
12-person
check
dining
went
room.
through,
And
would you do
small
that, or
apartment.
would you like that?
Or you could say formal or informal.
I was gonna say, I
You will be
sometimes,
the machine.
now that everything's.
You're going to get that
something
information
like
from Red
that,
Stuff, that's what I'm
dining
trying
rooms
to
that
find out.
flow into.
Right.
So I'm not gonna put anything, we're gonna put weight, give you your space, but I'm going to
Dining
nail
room,
this thing
let's
down.
say, do you
You're gonna
prefer formal or
sign the
informal?
registration card, and I'll put my notes
Do you
down.
prefer
At
an
the end
open
of the day,
dining
because I'll
room?
be able to remember this.
Open or separate.
Because people who walk into open
I think some
house,
of
they're gonna be like,
some of the criteria.
they wanna
on
see the
that,
house,
like,
and
every
not see the
entry
house.
sheets, you know, you don't have to talk to the.
they're gonna be like running away. You know, I mean, it's just, so that's why you're saying, like, say something to make them feel the second that they walk through the door.
Because if somebody's going behind me, they're like, so what do you think about the chair? Is it two or she's not? I'm gonna be like,
Separate
you're not, just go away. I don't want you asking me what I think about every room. I want you to go away. I won't like that. I will love what he said, but I won't like somebody.
And kind of what you just said.
Exactly. That will make that
Sewer,
X for me,
right?
just
Yeah.
like
The
this slope.
stairs.
And they're gonna be like, it's you, like, I want to link out,
Run
run
on
on
college,
my
I bet you
name,
already think
Right,
it's
you
that.
know, I'm saying, how is that?
Certain people really have a strong.
About that one.
So y'all gonna have to share what your opening statement is.
Or that'll tell you right
Yeah,
there.
but I
And then go over the 10 questions for the 2 that you're
For
talking
them or
about, 5 areas of.
Master bedroom, master on main.
So 2 for all these
Yeah.
areas, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 questions you're gonna come up with.
And,
And how much time?
You have about 2 minutes.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Like,
Anybody throw anything out?
I'm trying to give you one for the kitchen, you can use it.
a sitting area or.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
what is a
Fireplace
50/50
or-
presentation? What's a 50/50
These are
question?
closets, I don't know.
I know, that's what I come across.
What's that?
I want my own separate closet.
Yes, that's a good question.
But do it in a 50/50 form, which I always gonna have 4.
I don't know.
You want the master on the main or do you want the master upstairs? It might sound like
Or
a
master, I think that's fine,
little
master.
With the main on
You
it.
just have it on
Yeah.
or it makes it
Got that,
50/50.
that would be with the sitting area.
See, if I ask you a question, do you want it this way or another way? You've got to give me the answer.
Sitting area
Yeah.
space.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
I just
And then
wonder
here's
what
the
you're-
game, as you get, one second. You like the size of this dining room or do you need something more?
Because these are questions that we're supposed to be asking them so that we can.
Yeah, well, once a year we have a whole family,
Shut
we
up.
have 20 people crammed in there. I'm gonna go and engage outside and shut in there, so get
A lot
questions
of
down.
master bedrooms
And then you're
don't
gonna
have sitting
It
areas.
falls
and
in the
some-
conversation,
True.
so it's not just, you need
Or
to stay inside,
fireplace.
you want somewhere. Okay, come on here, what type of family, do you like the size of this, 2 stories? So the key thing is being relaxed in the conversation, so once you find the answer, you find out why they want that, but then you get into their life about how they live in a home, that's what the whole thing is. And if you do this right,
Do you
It'll be
want a
conversation.
yard, yeah, do you want a big?
but all you're doing is you're going to
Yard.
selling a service.
With, you know, that's
And
level
go over
flat.
how
or are you
everything is
okay
kind of
with
pulled
it?
together in this and just make it up.
Oh, I see what you're saying, because they had to do it
It's gonna
specifically
come
for
clear
those
why I
five
have the
things.
specific number of
I
homes
thought
you
you
need to go
said just
see,
anything.
why the
Oh, I
shifts,
missed that.
all gonna come
Oh,
together.
okay.
That's what-
That's what I thought. Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Well, I wrote down
Where'd
first.
you get that page?
Oh, it's in that. Are we just do this in general, or did we have to do those things you were
The
saying,
five
the
that
dining
you
room,
said.
kitchen, master?
Is it for the 5 you said or for?
I will leave that up to y'all. What would you like to do?
Everything.
Yeah, we want to go.
Beyond purchasing.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yes, I thought it was the whole house in general.
I wrote down 5 things you said.
Oh, okay.
I thought it
Well, here's the deal. This is what I prefer you to do.
Yeah.
The main areas of home that someone decides to buy or not.
Right.
Is all you need to worry about.
Well, but that also includes the yard, that's why I was thinking.
It can include the yard, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Cul-de-sac or not, so that's why I was thinking, well, that would be a 50-50.
So,
Okay,
So I
so
would say sign entry would be a good
you
one.
want 2 car garage, do you like garbage floor, do you want a 11 yard, or do you more?
well, now, if the home's got if the home's got a 2-car garage, I wouldn't want to point out that it has a 2-car.
That's true.
So that's a negative.
Right, okay,
So I wouldn't say, do you want a 2-car, or 3-car? Everybody'd say, oh, a 3-car.
sure, yeah,
I would say sign entry or front.
inside or front, yeah.
Okay, but the kitchen is important. Well, that's the next one.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 questions for that. Okay, so
I gave you one and you can still use it. You like the color of these cabinets or do you prefer something lighter or darker?
Do we tile? We said
everybody's
that,
gonna
yeah.
prefer stone, but we could actually
Well,
say
you could
that's
do an
2.
island with a breakfast bar.
Do you like hardwood or tile?
Or great.
Or
We like a union kitchen.
or just the,
So that depends on the home. If it has an island, you can say, well, sometimes a really nice island in the center, do you like that or you looking for something that does not have an island? Most everyone wants an island. If it doesn't have an island, I wouldn't say, someone doesn't have an island, you want an island, you know? So kind of
right.
balance it out. What's another the plan thing that you
I'm
can find out plan wise for a kitchen?
Now,
Open the family room or is it more concealed off? Is it more separated? You know, that's an either or. Some people want it all open. Oh, I want the family room and the breakfast area and the kitchen, all one big room. Right? And others would be like, you know what, I make a lot of noise in the kitchen. I like it kind of separate up, but I want a big island in the center. And I want it, you know.
Okay, so I like that.
Okay, 30 seconds, then we're gonna have a little group
Kitchen or
talk.
an open kitchen. That's really
What do you think? Open?
open. Everybody's wanting to open it. I had that one person who likes a little bit separate though, because just like you said, they want to be a little bit separate so they can do their thing, but otherwise see the mess.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
I didn't have time to look at all the pictures. I was making 2 bar stools. I don't like that. 2 bar stools.
Really?
Okay. That's not a searchable criteria.
I know the other side,
You know?
All right. Let's all turn around, let's engage in an open conversation with each other. Little group time is done, overall group time is in session. So, who wants to give it a crack of what get the X off their chest was that we came up with as a little small group? Who's supposed to participate your group?
The freak is
That's
not
the
going
I'm gonna say her. Denise, why don't you tell us what to get the X off the chest is for your group?
Well, Deb took up a little bit of our time, so we didn't get to come up with that.
Oh, come on.
That was the easy.
We said that was We really liked yours, Terry.
Which was
honestly.
what?
And we couldn't beat it.
So watch this, okay. What was it?
Hey, come on in. This is not my house, it's not gonna hurt my feelings, say whatever you wanna say about it. Whatever.
I'm glad you did mediocre at best with that and jumble the words up in different ways. Here's the thing, this is what I commented to them, this is very important. You guys need to write down whatever it is. That might sound so remedial. You go, well, I heard Terry say it and it just, I got it. Then I'll go, well, then say it. And it's gonna come out just like that.
Great.
Unless you write it down and you record yourself where it sounds good and you look at it and go, if I was the consumer walking in the door, what would my impression be of me as an agent? This is how I trained myself in this business to begin with, is going, hey, let's take this experience and let's try to come up with how can I overcome this, knowing that this is what the people are looking at, right? So try it again. Let it flow. See it, visualize it, go.
Hi, come on in. Take a look around. ask me questions if you need to.
I just want to impress upon you the importance of writing it down, getting it comfortable, and practicing it. And practicing it. And as small as that little sentence is to begin with, it's everything that leads 100% to the rest. I mean, if you sound that bad, then my
He's
perception.
so supportive of me.
No,
I'm
I'm
afraid.
trying to make a very big impression upon you guys, because here's what happens. Ultimately, you walk out of here and you go, I got this down, and you go do an open house. You don't put all the 8 signs out, you didn't do all the previewing, and you came in, and then you didn't do the role play to get the stuff down where you sound good and confident when they come in, and then you don't have the 50-50 questions down because you didn't write it down and practice those, and you suck at the open house. But in your mind, you did pretty good. And then after 2 months of doing it, no buyers are buying from you. Not because you're not doing the work to be there, it's because you suck at what you're doing. I'm just being real. Okay, so you don't get great by sitting there and going, I think I absorbed it all, I'm good to go. And if you think you can, then go record yourself at your first open house to the people that first walk in the door. I want to hear it. And then I'll buy it. But I know that that's not what happens. It's like my stepson. He thinks he's going to play varsity basketball next season. He's going to be in 10th grade. Yet he doesn't think he has to go to the practices to be able to go. And I go, well, let me tell you something. It doesn't work that way. If you want to go do it, you can do it. Because you got the skills. But if you're not going to work your butt off this summer, then you're going to be lucky to make JV, because everybody else is working their butt off. And they're catching up with you, they're going to pass you. So what do you want? And then the question comes down to how bad you want it. And if you want it really bad and you can see yourself really having whatever you want to have that glorifies whatever you're doing, then you're going to find a way to make it work. But you got to go back and work this stuff all the way through. What was y'all's statement?
Hi, I'm so glad you're here today. My name's Robin Oakley. If you have any questions, please let me know. Feel free to walk to the house, and I am here to help you. Just let me know what I can do for you.
Okay.
Perfect.
Weak.
No, that was good. It's
Feel free to walk through the house, and I'm not going to say a word to you. I'm going to let you feel so comfortable.
I'm available for you. I'm available for you for any questions. It has to be, it's got to be you too.
You're not going to be a tour guide. You're not going to be over there sucking on your thumb in the corner waiting for them to ask you a question. You're going to be served.
Okay.
That statement of, feel free to walk on through the home. I'm going to be over here being so nice. I'm being hard on you, but it's like, I just want you to realize this. If you say it, you're going to do it. Right?
Yes, but
That's a very weak statement. I'm not going to say anything to you. You might have thought I'm going to say, I'm going to be on them, I'm going to ask questions, but if you say that in the beginning, you're not going to be with them. Period. So I'm challenging you on that.
Well, I was trying to keep it short, but I typically say,
Hey,
if you would
well, I
if
just
you
don't
would
like
like
working.
for me to walk through the house with you to answer any questions or give you a tour, I'd be happy to do that. Now you're gonna say that's what too, because I said tour, right?
Well, I'm going to leave you the option of what you want to do. Most people say, you know, we'll walk around on our own.
I've
Come
not
up
had
to-
that happen
You
once.
come up to a Macy's department store, or whatever it is now. The guy comes up to you and says, hey, can I help you? No, I'm just looking around. Or they come up and say, hey, did you know about our new line that just came in last night? Depending on what you're looking for, I can show you. And all of a sudden you go, well, what is that? Right? So the difference in what you say on the beginning is going to set up a lot of different things. If you give me the option to say, no, I'm just going to let me walk around, chances are I'm going to say that.
Okay.
So what I want you to do is I want you to be an assertive person. Okay? I tell you what, I'm going to walk around some of the main part with you and ask you a couple of questions and let you go through the rest of the home, okay? Okay?
Okay.
By the way, there's nothing wrong with setting that up. Come on in, I'm going to ask you some questions. I'm going to go through parts of the home with you and then give you some space to walk around on your own, okay? Who in here would have a problem if you walked in the door and I said that to you straight up? Anybody? Because you heard one thing. I'm going to give you your space eventually.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to browbeat you or anything. I'm here to be of service. I'm a consultant. I'm assertive. I can't be assertive if I've got a weak statement opening up. You're going to find that you're going to hire us. So I want you to realize this. The X50, 50, 70 factors. Here's how everything works. Remember, you went through 15 to 25 homes at $100,000 block price that week. You know all the homes, not just by looking at them online. You know them by the experience of walking in there and seeing what you're going to go and ask the 50. Guess what? I told you to go through the areas you're going to ask the 50-50 questions on. So you walk into the dining room and you say, hey, tell me, Do you like the size of this dining room, or do you need something larger? We need something larger. All of a sudden, in my head, I'm going, boom, 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 out of 15, 25 homes I went through, 3 of them have a larger dining room than this. We go with the family room. Do you like the way that this kitchen opens to the family room, or are you looking for something a little more separated? No, we really want the open family room. Boom, out of 3 have a larger dining room. Only one of them has this family room set that they're looking for. And it happens to be the master up or master down. How much better do you think you're going to be once you see all this kind of coming together? How much better do you think you're going to be able to be to tie in and having them want to work with? So, we've got the X. We got the X off their chest. We got 50-50 questions. And then I say, go on upstairs or go down to the basement. Relax on your own. I'm going to be over here because I think I might have a home that's about 70% of what you're looking for, and I would like to get you out today. Okay? And you're a real legitimate buyer. You just met me, and by the way, I told them, and I don't know if y'all heard it, when you're asking the questions, you're not just going to go question after question. You're going to go, we need a larger dining room. You guys entertain all that. Yeah, we have family come over once a year, 20 people, and I don't want to be crowded. Okay, so that's very important for you. Okay, so tell me how that works and stuff. What's important in that? So you're going to talk in those spaces generally, not an hour conversation, just kind of getting a relationship going. So then by the end that you've asked in those areas, then when you tell them, go through the rest of the home. I do have a home, I think it's about 70% of what you're looking for. It's not perfect. I really would like to get in and see if I'm in tune with what you're looking for. You go upstairs and go on your own. I go over to, remember, the seller that I called and said, hey, might only have 5 minutes to give you notice if I find somebody that's for your home. I call those people and I say, hey, I'm at my open house. I have some people that would be a match for your home, possibly. Can I show it in 5 minutes? They say yes. You come back down the stairs. And I say, hey guys, I do have notification. We can go see a home. Again, I don't think you're going to buy it, but I want to see if I'm in tune with what you're looking for. It's probably about 70% what you're looking for. All of it. So I go, look, I got a packet together for you. We talked about at the beginning. I got a packet here. I'm going to give this to you. Let me just get your information here real quick before you go out. Okay? So one, people are going to do, I get their information on the front side or the back side? Get your information on the back side once you've earned the right. And by the way, I've got this packet here that's got useful information in it, trends and stuff. And the only way you're going to get it is to give me your information. So you're going to give me something, and then I'm going to give you something. Then I'm going to take you out. I've got 15 minutes. Then I'm going to take you out, and we're going to look at this home. But I'm going to be back in 15 minutes. So what do? I lock the door, right? I put on a note on the door. I'll be back at X30, whatever. And I take you to the home. I said, go into it. And I go, hey, the family room is not as open as I think that you're looking for, the kitchen, but the rest of it is exactly what you've laid out, in my opinion. So let's go in again. I don't think you're going to buy this, but let me see if I'm in tune. And I promise you that when you do this, you'll be taking them into a home closer to what they want than anything that they've seen. Yes.
So it's appropriate to leave an open house?
Yes.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you did it.
It's your
But you were
business.
stuck in there.
You are growing your business.
Okay.
And I'm respecting the home that I'm leaving by putting a note on the door and locking it. So nobody's going to be going there without me. If a consumer drives up and sees a note on the door, it's going to be back at 1:30, and it's 1:20. Are they going to hang around that neighborhood if that home is what they want? Yes. I'll wait 10 minutes. You better be back at 1:30.
What if the owner of the house is there while you're doing the open house for everybody and working crazy?
No, then I would adjust it, but you don't want the owners to be there anymore.
Okay.
And shouldn't you ask the question if they're working with an agent before you go through all that?
Oh, great question. Great question. No.
For real?
Yes.
Yes.
Let me ask you guys this. This is all, what is this business made up of? One thing, relationships, right? So, we also talked about earlier that there's a large percentage of agents that are bad, right? Those people could be working with a bad agent. Those people could also know, wow, you know what, when an agent asks me if I'm working with an agent, I say the magic word yes, they don't bother me. They might not be working with an agent, but they might know that agents don't bother them once they say, yes, I am working with
Or
an
they
agent.
say no and they have already signed an agreement.
Well, let me ask you this. So here's how I play it. You can do what you want. And I'm going to tell you, if you look at growing a business based off relationships, you need to make more relationships. You want people moving here from other states, other cities, other counties. And if you look at it and go, I want to meet more people, I want to express my knowledge, suddenly there's a difference. And if I, by chance, go take somebody to a home that they ultimately end up buying, and they buy and they use the other agent, what can you do with that? Are you going to be pissed off? By the way, a 3-hour block of time, you already had segmented off, so it's not like you took time out of your world to help these people, right? So what time of your life was wasted in the moment of taking them to the home that they might buy with another agent?
It's not wasted, I would just be concerned that the homeowner that I'm doing the open house for would be upset with me leaving the open house, that.
To try to go sell the neighbor's house.
If you're gone 15 minutes, if you're gone 15 minutes, you're typically not going to say anything about it. But I want you to remember this, in that moment is where you have the opportunity to grow your business. The most important part of you picking up a buyer is in the 70%. Now, if you don't feel comfortable with it, go, hey, you know what? Why don't you come back at 4 and let me take you there? Then you know what you're going to be faced with?
They may not come back.
Why don't you just tell me where it's at? And I'll go drive by, and if we want to see it, we'll come back at 4.
Always done. Yeah, I don't drive by.
So if you're growing your business and you're 100% committed to that, which is best for you? And then if that's best for you, doing it my way, and you do it in a professional manner, where you put a note on the door and you lock the door, might somebody be irritated at you?
Yes.
They might, but they're typically not, because they're typically not there and don't know. That's the reality. Now, if the home is outside the neighborhood, no, I'm not going to leave the neighborhood. If the home's inside that neighborhood, it's an easy one.
Okay.
And no, I'm not going to, 15 minutes is not bad. If it was half, you say, well, I'm going to drive 10 minutes, and no, don't do that. And by the way, I've got everything written out, so when you do have that comment, why don't you tell me where it's at, and we'll go drive by and see it, we'll call you if we want to get it. I've got it all written out, you just got to go memorize the words. Okay? So, where the hell were we? Sorry.
You guys
Where the
take
heck
the
were we?
house. 50-50, you take them to the
So,
house.
if I took you through this experience, the X50-50-70 factor, who in here would go with me on the 70% home that might be what you're looking for, your legitimate buyer? You guys with it?
Yeah.
Let's see. This is it, right?
Okay.
I got a better way. For you guys, I think I got a better way. Who in here wouldn't go with you? Okay, so.
It's not even Monday.
So,
That's right. It's raining.
and by the way, when I work with people, I'm not a hardcore pushy salesperson. I'm putting on a lot more energy with you guys than what I do if I'm meeting. So I'm very, I ask questions, I listen, I shut up more than I talk. And all I'm doing is observing their facial reactions. I'm observing what they're saying. And all I'm doing is going, with what they're saying, what are the homes that stack up in my mind? What are the neighborhoods that stack up in my mind? Where do they want to go? When I was in old Atlanta clubs, some people come and say, well, the lots are a little small. And say, well, have you seen this neighborhood or this neighborhood? I eventually come across a neighborhood they haven't seen. And I'd be thinking, maybe I need to take them to that neighborhood. I would spend 2 to 3 days showing people homes before they bought. I didn't have to spend 90 days. I knew my stuff. I knew my area. I knew the homes in inventory. So when somebody came to me, we didn't have to go see 40, 50 homes. We went and saw about 3 or 4, and they matched what the people wanted. Now imagine if you did that, you only had to show 3 or 4, not because I'm going to hardcore sell them, but because what I'm showing them, I know is what they're looking for, right? So that's the game. You'll be a lot more efficient and effective that way. Now, here's your funnel house. Here's your open house funnel to success. And by the way, I'm going to cover this one question that came up as an excellent question. I want you to think about this. The question was, do I ask them, are they working with another agent? And I told you no, because people will say that when they're not working with an agent, just to get you off their back. And the second one is, their agent may be bad. If they're working with one, then you got a 15% chance of them working with you and firing their other agent. That may be living down in Stone Mountain or wherever you're not, okay? Yes?
Question with that. If you've got a buyer who comes into your open house, you take them out, then they say, yeah, we're working with another agent. They don't typically, yeah, we have another agent, but ... Then you go ahead and you take them to this other house that's down the street and all, and you're creating this rapport. And then all of a sudden, who's procuring cost of the sale? Technically you're procuring
You
cost
are,
of the
but I'm
sale.
not going to put those buyers in a bad spot.
Okay,
After all, they're moving out to an area that I'm geographically.
okay, so this comes into the fact that you've already dedicated that 3-hour block.
So
You're
let's
just,
just,
if they
let's
find
just
something else,
realize
just
this.
suck it up and deal with it.
Let's say that they buy that home from their agent that they've been working with.
Right.
Okay? What can you do to win more business out of that relationship that you just built by doing this?
Just hopefully get more referrals from them, just, hey, she's really.
Referrals. So how do you get
out
referrals?
there.
How do you take that and go, I'm going to push this to the limit of what I can get out of these people for referrals?
Yeah,
The day they move in, you're gonna take
communication.
them a nice gift,
Yeah,
and welcome them to
communication.
the neighborhood.
You're gonna put them on your list, you're gonna
Who do
market
you
to
think
them.
they're going to refer business to? Anybody they know that's working, that's moving in that neighborhood or moving out of that neighborhood? You.
Yeah.
So you basically, you basically, I can't remember what they call it, but you basically take over their customer, take over the other agent's client,
Okay,
because the other agent's not gonna follow
They're not
up
gonna
and out and
follow
sell anyway.
all right. So you kind of look for the broader.
So remember,
picture.
your
You're looking
business
at
is
the
built
end.
off relationships.
Yeah.
You never build a relationship if you ask everybody, are you working with another agent? And you buy into the fact that what is really used of my time that I didn't already have accounted for today? I will tell you this, I built a business that I had a ton of referrals coming to me, not because I was the best at following up, because I went out there and served people like this, I was the most knowledgeable person, and they knew it when they met me, and I didn't care if they bought from another person to help those people, they're gonna respect me later on. And I went about my business that way, and I'd have calls from people going, hey, so-and-so, right? Well, I don't remember who that is. But that's what happens if you treat other people the right way and help them find what they're looking for without worrying about it. That make sense? It does work. But you gotta work at a very high level. Okay? Open house funnel to success. This is from the new homes training that I had. The funnel up top is widest, and what this means is when you walk in the door, I'm gonna have my little packet. My Google Maps that shows the home, my Google Maps that shows the neighborhood, my Google Maps that shows the recreation parks, hospitals, roadways, and all those things that you need to be putting in there so that you can talk to the people. So up here, I'm talking more because I need to educate you to the area, unless you already live in the area. As we go down, the community, I'm gonna ask you, what are you looking for in a community? And I'm gonna wait for you to respond. You draw down. Then when I get to talking about the home, the funnel is the smallest here because I need to shut my mouth more than I'm talking. When I get to the home, I'm asking questions and I need to get you engaged in talking. So that's why I drew the funnel out like this, is when you meet them at first, you're educating on the area, you're talking more. But when you get down to what they're specifically looking for in a home, you're talking a lot less. Make sense? So this was from Google Maps. I went there and I plugged in an address. This home was in the Old Atlanta Club. So you plop in there, you can show people where they're in relationship to major arteries. You can talk about where they're working, all that stuff. That's the shot of the neighborhood. So all of this up to this point right here is Old Atlanta Club. The reason that you want to show them,
You can see her. Don't look it up. I'm sorry.
go, get it. So you can show them where they're in relationship to the neighborhood amenities and those things. This gives you your X 50, 50, 70 factor as far as exactly what it is for. I gave you some options as to the 50, 50 questions.
Yeah, it's good.
By the way, we're going to be ending and wrapping this up soon. Thank you. So we're going to move on to the, all right, I'm going to follow up with a purpose. This is something that you got to practice just like the other things. So I'm going to let one of you be the potential buyer, and one of you be the agent. And you can read straight from the script here. I want you to read straight from the script. So who wants to be the agent? Okay, Mandy, I'll do it. Who wants to be the potential buyer? Mandy, I want you to call and leave a message. This is, Mandy calls, she spent the time with you, you had a good interaction with her, you gave her the 50-50 information, she took you to about 70% of what you're looking for, not one for you, but you feel pretty good about Mandy. And Mandy calls and leaves the voicemail. Go ahead and leave the voicemail, Mandy.
Hi, Mr. and Mrs. Byer. This is Mandy Newton with Results Realty Services. I wanted to give you a call because I've found 3 homes in the area you are looking for that seem to match the home you want. Call me back, please, and I will tell you about them.
Now, let me ask you guys this. If an agent that you met the day before called you back and had 3 homes that were what you were looking for in the area that you were looking for, and you had a good relationship with that person that showed you, I know my stuff, would you call that agent back?
Yeah.
Okay, do you know how many times I have agents go, I called them and left them messages and they won't call back? You know why? Because most of the time they're calling back going, hey, I was calling Steve, you got a home you're looking for, and I'd love to help you. Call me back and I'd love to help you. And you're not leaving them a reason. You're not saying, hey, because they don't ask the questions to find out what those people are looking for, so they got nothing to go to, right? So if you do this and you leave that question or you leave that message, they'll call you back. But here's what's going to happen. They'll call you back, and this happens every single time. Why don't you tell me about the homes that I'm looking for? Mandy, why don't you tell me? Oh, sorry.
Hey Mandy, I got your message. I wanted to call you back. Can you tell me where the homes are?
Oh, Miss Byer, I understand exactly what you're looking for, and it's been my experience that you may drive by and not like a little bit about the front of the home, and you won't want to go inside. You will not buy the home, but the inside may be exactly what you want. By viewing it together, I know exactly what you're looking for, and I won't waste your time. I will also not call you unless I've found the right match. What day would you be available to take a look? Because these do sound like they're exactly what you're looking for.
What would you say to that?
I would say I do have some time later in the week, but can you at least share some pictures with me or tell me so I can like see it online so I know what we're going to go look at?
No, my broker said not to do that.
Hey, I tell you what, I hadn't thought about that. Okay, fair enough. Let me ask you this. Really, I haven't signed the buyer's brokerage agreement with you, and I never asked somebody to sign it until I earned the respect from them. So I've been through these homes. I believe they're what you're looking for. I'd prefer just to go ahead and wait, because I think it's to your benefit to see if I'm really in tune with what you're looking for. I think these are what you're looking for.
Okay.
So I think you can be real, hey, you know, I only do that once I've got a buyer's brokerage agreement signed. So I guess the options are, I'll send a buyer's brokerage over agreement to protect me on these, or let's just wait and see if I'm in tune. That's probably the better direction right there. Being real, you know what, I can only send information like that to you once I've got a buyer's brokerage agreement signed with you, but since we just met, I don't feel comfortable doing that. So just trust me, based off what our conversation was the other day, I think that these would be great matches for you, so I'd rather just wait on that. Does that sound okay? By the way, what happens if she says, no, I don't want to sign the buyer's brokerage agreement. I want you to tell me where these things are and send me the pictures. What does that say? They're just trying to take advantage of you, and they don't want to work with an agent. They're not going to work with an agent. There's really not much that you can do. So what do you do in that spot? What do you do when that happens? You're going to feel really uncomfortable for one. And then you're going to be faced with, gosh, I guess I can give it to them, and they might be jackasses, but the reality is if I don't give it to them, they're never going to work with me. So give it to them or do not?
How about giving it to them, but calling a listing agent and saying, hey, they won't sign with me, I've showed them a bunch, I'm referring them to you.
But you're not referring to them. Because a referral agreement has to be on the HUD, and you can't have that on HUD because they just not work with them. So
What if, and I haven't had time to like really go through this, and I've obviously never been in the situation, but what if you just take a very real approach with them and say, you know, Mr. and Miss Home Buyer, I get that your time's important to you. My time's important to me too. And, you know, the way this relationship works the best is when both sides win. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste your time. So if you're not interested in working with an agent, and I haven't proven my value or worth to you at this point, you know, I wish you the best of luck and move on.
yes, but I like that a lot. That was smooth, but I like throwing in this too. Maybe you've had a problem with agents in the past. I don't know. What I can tell you is these homes sound like they're exactly what you're looking for. Why don't you take my number down, so if you want to see these homes that do sound like they're a good match for you, call me back and I'll be more than happy to show them to you, okay? I like throwing that in there because I want to basically say, kiss off in a nice professional way, and that's where you play with them. Hey, I understand you got, hey, maybe you've had problems with agents in the past, I'm not that way, but these homes do sound like they're exactly what you're looking for. So if you do want to get into them and you want to work with a professional agent, give me a call back. Because they really do sound like what you're looking for.
So you're not gonna send me homes? I'm the person.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I respect my business. These do sound like they're a good match for you, but I don't give people information until I have a buyer's brokerage agreement signed. And out of respect for you, I won't ask you to do that right now. I mean, if you're willing to, I'll send them over to you. Is there any harm with that? Do we, by law, have to give people anything? No. So I want you to remember this. You take whatever knowledge and experience you got and you stick it in your back pocket. And until you have a buyer's brokerage agreement signed, you can't give that information out. That includes the homes that you go find for people that you can go, I know that this is a home for me and I can give it to them right now, and they're gonna go buy it. It's gotta be tucked in your back pocket. The only way to get that is to have a buyer's brokerage agreement signed. And I think that actually this is a different dialogue than we've done in the past. I like the idea of bringing out the buyer's brokerage agreement signed and say, hey, the only way I can send you information is once we have a buyer's brokerage agreement signed. And out of respect for you, I don't think you're ready for that right now. But once we earn that, then we'll go into that. So the only way that you're going to see these is to meet me XYZ down the street from where these are. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I got to change some of the verbiage on that. That's if you can get this out. Mr. Buyer understands exactly what you're looking for. And I want you to change this one little thing in here because we have changed it. It's been my experience that you may drive by and not like a little about the front. What we're going to change here is go. You might drive by and not like 10% of the front exterior and not want to get inside. Now, and here's the key thing that you got to say. You will not buy the home, but the inside might be exactly what you're looking for. So they got to hear from you, hey, there might be a little flaw. You might not buy that home because if it's 10% off, I'm not going to even ask you about that. That's what they need to hear from you. If you and homes together, I'll know exactly what you're looking for, not waste your time. They need to hear, I'm not going to waste your time. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. I will also not call you unless I found the right match. Now, most people, if they hear that in a good way, they will absolutely go, now remember, if they had the experience with you, the X50, 50, 70 factor at the open house, over 75% of people fall right in line after this is put out there, period. Small percentage won't, but if you come up with a good, I'm not going to be able to show them, I'm not going to be able to send it to them unless I got the buyer's brokerage and sign that respect for you. I'm not going to do that right now, so they're not ready to sign one. Another 15% will fall in line on that, and then 10% are ones that are evil people that are out to try and take advantage of you and use your services to gain the commission. And this is what I will tell you. I want you to always remember this. Until you have a buyer's brokerage signed with somebody, what you charge, remember, before you have a buyer's brokerage signed with somebody, what you charge to give them the information is what you're going to collect when they buy. It's nothing. Always remember that. Because what happens? The agent goes, I wanted to be the nice guy, and they asked me, and I didn't have a way to overcome it that I felt comfortable with, so I went ahead and I sent them the information, and I followed up with the people. I can't get them to call me. So the people might have driven up in front of the home and seen an Aaron Orman sign and go, oh, we didn't know what they're listing, right? We thought it was their listing. Well, we're excited about this. I'm just like, wow, this is a wow. Who are you going to call? Person on the sign that has all the information you want, or one that just sent you information that you met 15 minutes the other day? Most people call the sign. And that's what happens. That makes sense? So that's the strategy. That's the art to this, is going, hey, I can't give anybody anything that's in my back pocket. The only way I can get that released is by having a buyer's brokerage signed by somebody. And if I'm really professional all the way through and show them, I'll tell you this, the X50, 50, 70 factor, people will lay down and work with you if you do that. Tell me. It's the best experience somebody can have, and you step back, and if you do it and you do it right, you'll go, how can anybody mess this up? Now, is everybody going to work with you? No, because some of them are not really, really in the game right then. Some people will lie, but a vast majority of the people that are out there in open houses will work with somebody that goes in this direction here. Any questions or comments? Was this okay? So the key thing is, it's a lot to do. If you really look at the whole week, there's a lot of strategy in this, but I promise you, if you guys said, hey, I'm going to do this as a monthly program, whether you do 2 a month or 4 a month, if you do this, you will absolutely make a reasonable amount of money from just doing open houses. And you'll start to pick up sideline business from the previous people you met. You get listings as a result from it. There's so much more business that comes from doing this exactly the way that it's written out here. So my hope is that you'll draw a line in the sand and that you go, hey, this is a great resource. I can do this and develop business over time. And you'll get listings as a result. But do not take one step out of this. And in 90 days, you'll be blown away at how far your mind gets from the trend studies and all that stuff that you're going to do. You'll be a whole different player in 90 days than you are today. That's what it's about. Okay? So make sure you're signed up here. Thank you for being here. We took one break and rammed on through, so thank you. And by the way, I do want you to fill out a form. Your names don't have to, no, your names don't. I want real information. This is no whole part. The only way that we get better is if I have real factual stuff. You can say you were did a terrible job and give me some information that we can get better with. Because as y'all heard me, I was real with y'all.
Yeah.
And anything we can do to help you guys out, just let us know. I think one of the biggest challenges you will face is the trend analysis stuff, so I encourage you guys to take a step on that and get comfortable with that, because that will make a huge difference with everybody you meet. Thank you. Now they can step out so I don't get to see who's counting and seeing who's putting their stuff in there.
I don't know my neighborhood.